Tonight's episode of America's Hometown Horror is brought to you by our friends at Fangoria magazine. That's right, the first name in fright since 1979 is now an affiliate of America's Hometown Horror. And because of that, we can now offer you an exclusive 20% discount on any first-time magazine subscription or merchandise purchase by heading over to shop.fangoria.com and using the code HometownHorrorPod at checkout. That's shop.fangoria.com/HometownHorrorPod, or just use the code HometownHorrorPod at checkout for that exclusive discount on anything from Fangoria. Tonight's episode of America's Hometown Horror is also brought to you by our friends at Horror Facts Magazine. Never heard of Horror Facts Magazine? Well, if you're a horror fan, they're a name that you absolutely should know. You can find them over at horrorfacts.com, and they're a great resource for all things horror, including news, reviews, editorials, and lots of other horror podcasts, not only limited to, but including America's Hometown Horror. So head on over to horrorfacts.com and check them out. Now, let's get on with the show. All right, hello, good evening, and happy new year to you, and welcome into another episode of America's Hometown Horror, the first episode of 2024, which is our fifth calendar year doing this podcast, which is absolutely outrageous and crazy to think about, but we appreciate you taking the ride with us here into 2024, and we got a fun one tonight, and we're excited to get going. Here's where you can find us online if you're interested in those sorts of things. First place is our website, which is at ahpod.com. It's AHHPOD.com. You can also find us on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Just search for America's Hometown Horror, and you'll find us. You can also email us at hometownhorrorpodcast@gmail.com, and you can leave us a voicemail for our 200th episode special, which will be coming up in a couple of weeks, at 508-927-1267. That's 508-927-1267. You have a couple of weeks left to get a message in to have your voice heard on our 200th episode. And of course, the most important thing you can do for us is like the show, subscribe to it, and review us on whatever podcast platform you listen to us on. It's the best thing that you can do to support our show. And last but certainly not least, I'd be remiss if I did not mention our friend Shaun from Skywheel Media, who's been doing a fantastic job with all of our audio and music production. And if you have a podcast that you're looking to do the same with, get in touch with us. We'll put you in touch with Shaun. Can't thank Shaun enough for all he did for us in 2023, and looking forward to another great partnership in 2024. All right, now that I got that all off my chest, I say Happy New Year to my fellow co-hosts, and we have a full deck in here tonight for our top 10 horror movies of 2023. Andrew, Matthew, hello, good evening.
What's up?
What's up?
I just read through the Google document again, and I spoiled your top 10.
Oh, it's okay. It's all right. Well, I realized, like, after I sent you guys, like, the rough outline, and I hadn't filled anything out yet, that if you went back in and looked at some stuff, you might see some of my answers. And I was hoping that nobody would steal any of my answers. Looking at you, Catherine, I'm sure you probably.
I'm just doing some last minute.
Yeah, totally. I'm
Copy, paste.
I'm sure. So, guys, Happy New Year. Hope everybody had a Merry Christmas. Did Santa Claus bring everything that they were looking for?
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful,
and so much more.
Excellent. I'm happy to hear it. Well, guys, it was a hell of a 2023. Have to say, we did a lot. We saw a lot. We talked a lot on microphone. People seem to listen to us a good amount, which is always wild to me. But yeah, good year. And like I said, I can't believe that 2024 is our fifth calendar year. Not our fifth, actually. But so started at the end of 2019. Now we're in 2024. So at the end of this year, we'll have been doing this for 5 years, which is wild.
Yeah, it's kind of insane.
Yeah. It's fun. Yeah,
we'll have to do something really cool for our 5-year anniversary.
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure something out for that. But we have our 200th anniversary, 200th episode coming up in just a couple of weeks, so we got to prep for that one first. Get some fun stuff to talk about. Maybe have some fun audio clips to play, and we'll figure all that out as we get closer to that in just a couple of short weeks. This is episode 198, I believe. So we have 199 after this, and then 200 the following week. So. Guys, I know this is kind of our big dog, like, favorite episode of the year to do. This is our second time doing top 10 horror movies of the year. Started out last year with our top 10 of 2022. That one last year ran a little bit long. So I think, and I don't think we did like our usual stuff beforehand, but just, for the sake of time here, we'll skip over news. We'll skip over watch lists, since watch lists essentially what we're going to be talking about the entire episode here. There has been some newsworthy stuff to drop, so maybe we'll do a bunch of news next week whenever we get together to record on whatever topic that we're, going to talk about. But yeah, so why don't we just jump right into the top 10 horror movies of 2023? Couple of quick things to get to here first, and I guess what I would say just off the rip here, listen back to our top 10 of 2022 episode recently, and as I mentioned, our first time doing one of those. Last year was kind of a banner year. It had so many great horror movies that were out there, and I went back through my top 10, and I still mostly agree with all of my picks. I looking at my Letterboxd list, I think I probably had another like between 7 and 10 movies that could have been interchanged with some of the other ones on my list. It was just the roster of horror movies that were really good to great last year was really, really deep. And with that said, I hate to kind of start off on a down note, but and I'll ask you guys the same thing here, but I just think that 2023 at this moment was a bit of a step back and not quite as strong of a year as last year. What do you guys think about that? Would you tend to agree?
Yeah,
I would definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
That's
the bar was set very high.
Yeah.
Like there was still some very good movies on this list. There's movies in my top 5 that are better than movies in my top 5 last year.
Okay.
So
okay.
The issue was that last year there was such an abundance. This year they were so few and far between. But the ones that do hit, they hit. They're good.
Yeah.
So,
Kat, what about you?
What?
Did you think that this year was a little bit of a step back from last year in terms of quality of horror movies?
I feel like this year went by faster. I feel like I watched a lot more horror movies than I did last year. I think just time-wise, like adjusting to having a baby and stuff, like I just didn't have as much time that I had
before
I had a baby.
That makes sense.
But then I adjusted more this year, so I watched more movies this year than I did last year.
Okay, so you watched more horror this year.
Yeah.
Okay, that's okay. Well, there we go.
But I didn't go to the movies as much because I didn't have a babysitter.
I know. Yeah, I feel like that's actually
which kind of really sucked.
True. I think I only saw a handful of movies in the theater this year, which sucks.
I wish you answered the question.
Yeah, I guess.
Did I answer it?
No, not at all. So I think I had 43 things logged. That was where I'm at as of today on Letterboxd. Last year I had 50 things logged. I don't know where you guys were at. What was your number? You had a number, I think, right? Something like that.
It's 32.
32. So I also had some TV stuff logged in there too, but movie-wise, probably around the same
39.
Thing. Yeah, I think there's definitely some very good, maybe a couple of classics out of this year. I would hesitate to call it a ton of them, but I think that there were a lot of disappointments this year for a lot of stuff that came out, which, kind of stinks. But with that said, I think we're going to probably try and stay as positive here as we can. We're going to talk about a bunch of different stuff about 2023, look ahead to 2024 a little bit, and then obviously talk about our top 10 movies of the year. Why don't we just get the negative out of the way first? And one thing when I noticed last year when I listened back, we had this category as our worst horror movie of the year. And I'm changing it to basically what our least favorite would be, because I think, obviously, we do a podcast. We give our opinions on things, and we're not always right on everything. And we know that, people aren't seeking, going out to make a bad movie. So we would never want to disparage anyone for making a movie. It's just if something didn't work for you as much as the next person, that's totally fine. Not everything is for everybody. And again, all of these lists tonight and all of our opinions are subjective. It's not obviously, these are our favorite 10 horror movies of the year, not what we're calling like the critically best horror movies of the year, because those would be drastically different lists.
Yeah.
And, we obviously all have very different tastes. So I'm interested to see what our lists are going to look like, because I know Matt and Andrew and I will probably have a couple of movies on the same, like a couple of the same movies on our lists. I don't know how many overlaps we'll have. I guess we'll see. But just to kind of get, I guess,
how many do you think we'll have in the same exact spot?
Yeah. I don't know.
Like where two of us have it in the same spot?
I think we might have a couple in the same spot. Me and you and Andrew might. You and Andrew. I don't know.
I can see maybe one or two, but that's about it.
So, and I hesitate to almost even call this negative, but was there anything this year that stuck out to you that just did not work, was your least favorite horror movie of the year? So why don't we just for, posterity here, If that even works, that word even works in this situation. Why don't we start to my right with Matt, and we'll just work around. So Matt, Kat, Andrew, finish with me. Matt, did you have a least favorite horror movie of the year?
Yeah, I'll give you real quick just the 3 on the bottom of my letterbox list.
Yeah.
From basically 1 being the very, very bottom worst, or least favorite, I should say. So 3 was Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. I talked about it before. It was a huge miss for me. It was just I couldn't take it seriously.
Yeah.
Number 2 was Megan. This was one of the first movies I watched of the year.
Yep.
Really didn't like it. I get it. It's gateway horror, but I just thought it was just taking 10 steps backwards after they've been trying to take 1 step forward for gateway horror. So I just thought it was fucking stupid.
Yep. Okay.
And then the worst one of the year for me was this movie called Sorry About the Demon.
I heard.
I think it was on Netflix. It could have been on Shudder, but
I feel like that was Shudder.
It was like a
Shudder.
fucking Disney movie, dude. It was like it just felt like I was watching like Young Sheldon. I was like, this is fucking stupid. So I really, really didn't like this one. It was very cringy. It was like you'd have like someone kind of like look around a room and have this like peculiar ass fucking corny music. Like it was and that's what it was trying to do, which it's like, okay, but it just like that type of humor, it was like Big Bang Theory crowd humor.
Okay.
So I was just I just want to jam my fist down my throat, make myself puke. It was just awful.
Yeah, it sounds like something I wouldn't like as well. And I did not see that one, but I probably will not seek it out based on that feedback there. But hey, if you liked it out there, good for you. Kat, what about you? I have a feeling that me, Kat, and Andrew might have a similar answer.
My worst.
Least favorite.
My least favorite. I didn't like Skinamarink and Voyage of the Demeter.
Wow, I'm actually very surprised to hear you put those 2 movies on the same level of.
I finally just watched that the other night.
Mm-hmm.
Voyage of the Demeter.
Yeah,
I liked it. We're gonna get into that more.
Sucked.
Andrew.
My least favorite movies of the year, starting with Thanksgiving, then Megan.
Yep.
Then Pet Sematary Bloodlines. That is the most trash movie that ever came out in my life. Like, I have no problem saying that is a trash movie.
I don't know if that was on my.
And then my least favorite was Skinamarink. I just didn't like the style.
I had Skinamarink on my list too, which it pains me to say because at least Skinamarink was creative and they were doing some interesting stuff. It was like a cool concept. Like I liked like the the 90s like lo-fi type aesthetic that they were trying to put out there. I just ultimately for me it didn't work as an hour and 40-minute long movie. I feel like as a short film, it would have 12 minutes, way better.
Oh yeah,
it was just way too long. It was definitely creepy. And again, this is why it just didn't work for me. Yeah, it just was not my particular cup of tea. Also, Bad Things on Shudder also really did not care for that.
I didn't watch that when it came out because you told me you didn't like it.
Yeah.
So I was like, if Mike doesn't like it.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's very much trying to be like a low budget, like Shining type thing. And it didn't really work for me. But anyway, so those were our least favorite of the year. Again, our least favorite, not the worst. All right, now let's start off. Let's get some positive stuff going here.
Let's be positive. New year, positive vibes.
We're positive. Positive vibes.
Well,
now we get that out of the way.
Worst in my notes, so I'm just reading.
Well, on the list, it was on the outline, it was least favorite. So that's okay. It doesn't really matter. Now, I feel like some of these, again, we might have similar answers here. So if you have some other stuff, like a couple of different things, that's fine too. So Matt, what was your best horror TV of the year?
Wait, we can say best, but we can't say worst.
Favorite.
What was your favorite horror TV show, episode, anything horror TV related that was your favorite of the year?
Fall of the House of Usher.
Yeah, I think we all probably had that.
Yeah.
On our list, right? Yeah. I mean, it was awesome. It was great. I think it was probably far and away the best thing on TV this year.
It was so good.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Yeah. I think there was even some discussion amongst all of us about potentially including that in our top 10 of the year.
For some reason, was brought that up, but then I was like, I watched like 30.
I had enough movies.
I was like, when I went through it, I was like, I have a billion movies.
Yeah. I wouldn't have had a problem with it personally because I feel it's a limited series. It's not like a season of television, and it was so well done. So many awesome performances. Took Edgar Allan Poe's stories into like a shared continuity type thing and modernized all of them It was great. It was fantastic.
One interesting thing I just found out is that Bruce Greenwood wasn't originally cast.
Yeah, Frank Langella,
and he was like kind of an asshole, I guess.
I mean, I guess he got fired for something. I forget exactly what it was.
Was that
what he got Me Too'd? Yeah.
Yeah, people don't like that one.
Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. So, Fall the House of Usher.
Speaking of positive.
Yeah, right? Kat, did you have anything else besides Fall the House of Usher for TV?
Nope.
No. Andrew?
I did watch a couple episodes of Dead Ringers, but it never really.
Yeah, so you never finished it?
Yeah, it didn't fit.
You like that movie? Too.
I love the movie.
Yeah.
It just, I have to be in the mood to watch a show. And that's why Fall the House of Usher, that's clearly my number one, because immediately just.
It was really good.
Would you say that, Andrew, even though we're not, would Fall the House of Usher qualify as your favorite horror thing of the year? Did you like that better than any horror movies?
It would be in my top 3 if I was going to put it somewhere in there, but I'm not going to put it.
It would be in my top 10, but not in my top 5. No. Yeah.
It'd be in my top 10 for sure. Absolutely.
The Last of Us came out in 2023.
Yeah, I'm surprised nobody brought that up yet. I mean, I feel like it was definitely on at the beginning of 2023. It was very, very good. I'm interested to see where season 2 goes. But Last of Us is definitely one of those shows where it's very much a character-driven show. It's not like The Walking Dead, where it's all about. I mean, The Walking Dead was to a certain extent character-driven as well.
It was very Walking Dead-ish.
Yeah, it was very Walking Dead-ish, but with a higher budget on HBO.
That was 2023.
2023.
I feel like that was so long ago.
I know.
We also had Yellow Jackets, new season in 2023.
True, yeah.
That was definitely a down season, I think, which was unfortunate. But I think probably second for me, the best horror TV thing that came out this year was the Locke Henry episode of Black Mirror, which was absolutely fantastic. Yeah. I absolutely loved that one. A lot of people also I saw had the episode with Aaron Paul and Josh Hartnett.
That was actually a really good one too.
What was it called? Yeah,
brutal,
that one was really fucked up. God, what was it called? Somewhere Beyond the Sea was the name of the episode. That one was really good. Also going to get a little shout out to season 4 of Creepshow on Shudder, because it's just Creepshow.
I almost if I hadn't watched Follow the House of Usher, it would have been Creepshow.
Yep,
I love that. They do a really good job.
I really do too. All right, so here's a new little category I threw in here for this year, which I think this is definitely relevant because we do kind of talk about a lot of different horror stuff. It's not always movies or TV. So basically, for this one, I want to do for lack of a better term or phrase, favorite horror grab bag thing of the year. So my thought for this one can be anything horror related. Can be a book, a podcast, a physical media release, a haunted attraction, etc., etc., etc. Excuse me. Anything horror related that is not a movie or a TV show that you really enjoyed in 2023. Matt, I'll start with you.
Radio Rental.
Yeah,
I jumped onto this this year exclusively, but it was still, this season was great.
Yeah.
They're still the last episode of the season was really good.
Yeah.
So they ended on a bang. So, but yeah, that show's awesome.
Was that the one with the last one of the season? Was that the one with the ice road trucker story? And the that one was really good. Yeah, that's a podcast that I feel like we talked a lot about this year, and it's still one of the only podcasts that's out there that, like, when the episode drops on Friday morning, like I'll make time to listen to it.
It's an awesome when I wake up that early too, and I'm like, oh, sweet,
beautiful. Yeah, that was definitely in the running for me as well. It's an awesome podcast with some genuinely creepy stories. So, Radio Rental rocks. Catherine, what about you?
Andrew next.
Okay, we'll go out of order. Andrew, what about you?
Probably when we went to halfway to Halloween back in May.
Fright Kingdom.
Fright Kingdom. That was really that was a blast, because I don't really listen to any podcasts and I don't play any video games, so I wouldn't have any horror video games. So yeah, probably that. That was really fun.
Yeah.
And I actually was able to enjoy it.
That time. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that definitely qualifies. And I think anytime that you can go to a haunted attraction outside of the Halloween season, it's a special event, and being able to go, like, and when it's warm outside, it was pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah, so Fright Kingdom, always a good time. And who knows, maybe we'll get to do something like that again this upcoming year. You never know. Kat, what about you?
What about you? You go next. I'll go last.
You'll go last.
Yeah.
Okay. So I feel like I have to at least give a little bit of a plug to Haunts and Hops.
I was going to say
we'll wait. We'll okay. Well, you could have gone. You blew it. You
I wanted to be last. You're like Haunts and Hops.
I'll skip that, and we'll go back to that when Kat brings it up, even though she could have already brought it up. I also, for me, I another haunted attraction. Barrett's this year was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, I was bummed.
32nd year. Some of the best stuff I've ever seen them do in the house. And at the outdoor attraction, it was really just incredibly well done. Not only that, but the fact that they were able to get some national recognition, being part of the legendary Haunt Tour, Transworld's legendary Haunt Tour, along with Fright Kingdom and Haunted Overload. awesome exposure for them. And I know they also, during this particular season, there's an Amazon show called Spooky Kisses Haunts. It's like a reality show that goes to different haunted attractions throughout the country. That show actually went and filmed there this season as well. The episode is not out yet. So just a awesome year for Barrett's Haunted Mansion. And just psyched for him. But Kat, what did you have for yours?
I really liked live podcasting at Haunts and Hops.
Yes. Well, I don't know why you're saying it like that, but yeah, that was an absolute awesome time. Yeah. Anything else that you want to say there? Or
you're the one that wanted to bring it up.
No, I wanted to be like, it was Hops and Hops. But anyways, it's okay.
Anyway.
No, I thought it was really fun doing a live podcast in front of audience and friends and fans. Like that was definitely the highlight of the year.
Yeah,
I feel like
that was dope.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And it was a lot of work leading up to it for all of us. And actually I have to also, me and Matt doing trivia a couple of times too. That was a lot of fun. That was just like, I keep forgetting like all the things that we did this year. We did a lot of stuff. But yeah, Haunts and Hops, the first annual one, was a great success, as Borat would say. And yeah, the live podcast was definitely, I think, probably the highlight of the whole thing for me. That was a lot of fun to do.
It was a lot of fun.
Looking forward to doing another one sometime soon. Who knows? Maybe the next opportunity will be sooner than that. Sooner than next year's Haunts and Hops. So good call on Haunts and Hops, America's hometown Haunts and Hops horror convention, Catherine. Great minds think alike. Well, sorry that you could have gone second and said it, but
sorry,
anyway.
I want to be
I want to do a drum roll.
Big ending, yeah, that's okay. Sorry.
All right. All right. Next category: best performance in a horror movie this year. This one was a little bit harder for me to figure out than it was last year. I feel like last year there were so many things to pick from, and this one was a little bit tougher. But got anything off the top of your head there, Matt?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Joaquin Phoenix and Beau is Afraid.
Oh,
that
was very good.
That's a really good one. Yeah, just a completely off the wall bananas weird performance by a off the wall bananas weird actor. So I have a feeling Beau is Afraid might come up a little bit later on the show as well. Catherine, what about you?
I definitely agree with Matt. With Joaquin Phoenix, I thought the guy at Knock at the Cabin was really good. The bigger guy with
Dave Bautista.
I don't know his name.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dave Bautista. Yep.
He was very good.
Had that on my list as well. Absolutely.
He bummed me out.
I did not see that.
He actually was awesome in that movie, and it was funny to see him do a different type of role. Yeah, because he was like very soft spoken and measured, whereas he's mostly known for playing one of the Guardians of the Galaxy and like the MCU and all that. And he's just a big, gigantic man. Like there was a former professional wrestler. So it was weird to see him in that type of role. I really liked him.
I liked it that he was like that though. It was something refreshing about it.
Yeah. Very true to that character in the book as well.
You could just tell he gave a shit about being that good in that role.
Yeah.
So it made me happy to see that he had the acting chops to pull it off. So I was like, good for this guy.
Wasn't just cashing a check.
You're not just like a wrestling idiot.
Yep. Absolutely.
You're not just a wrestling idiot.
All right. So Dave Bautista. Andrew, what about you, my friend?
Honestly, it's got to be Russell Crowe from Pope's Exorcist. Because that movie I went into with zero expectations, and the fact that he pretty much made that movie amazing just because he hammed it up so good being like
Italian,
just super Italian, like Pope, and just like some of the it's like dad like jokes and throughout the movie. It's just fantastic.
See, I still haven't seen that movie.
It's so stupid, but it's so good.
Yeah, because I feel like
I think you would like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I feel like exorcism movies for me,
but it's like
it borrows so much from the original Exorcist.
Yeah.
But if you just kind of go into that,
just turn your brain off and have a good time.
I feel like it knows that it's doing that though. Like it doesn't take itself seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, it can't. Maybe it does, but it comes across as like horror comedy.
Okay. All right. I was not expecting Russell Crowe there. It's an interesting answer. Round one. Pretty good.
I'm Russell Crowe.
I mean, this isn't my final answer here, but I feel like dude, 2 years in a row, Mia Goth is just hammering some unbelievable horror performances, and she was fantastic in Infinity Pool. But
that movie's fucking insane.
Crazy.
Yeah. I mean, but I think for me, aside from Bautista and Knock at the Cabin, my favorite horror performance of the year was Nick Cage and Renfield as Dracula. I absolutely loved that.
Yeah, that was
fun. He was a great Dracula. Very fun to see him kind of, again, hamming it up as Dracula, having a good time, kind of just chewing all the scenery. Like, that movie rocked because of Nick Cage. So
the other,
I feel like Russell Crowe and Nick Cage are going to be kind of in the same vein at some point. Like, Russell Crowe's still kind of a serious actor, but I feel like he's getting into this weird, goofy stage.
Nick Cage is also in like 15 movies a year now. He's
good in all
everything.
of them.
Yeah, he's always good. He's just such a weirdo and such manic, crazed energy. But he was good in that. All right, best non-horror movie of the year. Do you have anything that you liked?
This is hard because
it's a big year.
There's a handful that I haven't watched yet, but so I mean, I gotta go right now. I'm gonna go with recency bias. I just watched Saltburn, and that was really good.
Oh, so I've heard that's really good. That's one with Barry Keoghan.
And people would argue that is horror, but I don't think so. But I know that Killers of the Flower Moon is gonna be my pick of the year.
I haven't seen that yet.
I'm such a Scorsese fan.
Yeah,
and I love Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro.
Me too. And Brendan Fraser's in that. Jesse Plemons. So it's I can't wait to see that. But also like. I think I used to have Craig's Apple TV logins, and he doesn't have them anymore or whatever. So I'll probably have to fucking pay for
I have Apple TV.
Oh, do you?
Yeah,
okay, maybe I'll swipe those from you.
But yeah, it's gonna be like that. Like I still gotta watch Napoleon. I gotta watch Oppenheimer.
I haven't seen either of them. Yeah, I haven't seen Oppenheimer. Haven't seen Barbie. So like I'm behind. I feel like everything that I watched this year when I had time to watch something, I was trying to watch something horror.
Right.
So what about you, Kat? Do you have anything?
I didn't really watch anything besides.
Okay, all right, fair. If you don't have an answer, that's totally fine. Andrew?
Yeah, I mean, I watched Jersey Shore.
I know, Andrew, you saw a lot of non-horror stuff this year too, so I feel like I know your answer here.
So my favorite non-horror movie is Oppenheimer.
I figured as much.
And then I also liked the Super Mario Brothers movie. That was really good.
Oh, I did see that one. I saw. Okay, so actually, Super Mario Brothers was awesome. That was really good.
I watched some weird Netflix movie. They cloned Tyrone with Jamie Foxx in it.
Oh yeah,
that was actually really good and weird and fucking like an interesting movie.
Okay, all right. So I feel like I heard a couple people mention that as borderline horror-ish.
Yeah, I mean, it had some elements of that. It was like conspiracy theory stuff. Like they realized that like their town is just churning out like clones and stuff.
Yes. So for me, I again haven't watched a lot. Haven't seen. I still got to see all these movies that we were just talking about. But I recently watched The Holdovers, which is now available to stream on Peacock. I was really good. Andrew, you would love it because I know you love Sideways, which is the director of Sideways with Paul Giamatti again. As a total David Fincher nerd, though, I have to go with The Killer. The Killer was really good. Not quite Fight Club or Zodiac or Seven or Social Network, but it's a member of the 4-star David Fincher club, along with like Gone Girl, The Game, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, Panic Room, that type of thing. But if you haven't seen The Killer yet, if you love David Fincher, I mean, how have you not seen it? But it's really good. It's on Netflix. Worth checking out for sure. Good performance by Fassbender. Okay.
All right.
Last but certainly not least, before we get into our top 10 most anticipated movie and or movies of 2024 for horror, of course. Matt?
Late Night with the Devil.
Had that on mine.
We're going to see that in Shudder in April.
Yep.
Maxine, which I don't know when that's coming out.
Yeah, I don't think that has a release date yet.
There's one called Cuckoo that I have been anticipating. I thought was going to come out this year, but did not make it. But that's supposed to be a fucking crazy one. And then, let's see. Hold on. Terrifier 3.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Ooh.
Nosferatu, Alien, Romulus. There's a good amount of stuff.
Yeah, I had Alien, Romulus, and Nosferatu on mine as well. Those, I mean, the new Alien movie, I can't wait to see. Same with Nosferatu. Yeah. Those are high on my list. Kat, did you have anything?
Well, when you said Terrifier 3, I forgot about that. I would do that. And then there's a new Saw movie.
There's a new Saw movie coming out in October as well.
I just like this. I mean, even though they're not great, I mean,
Saw X was the best one to come out since 3, in my opinion.
It's pretty good. Yeah, it was pretty good. Okay.
So give me more Saw. Yeah.
Oh, Saw. Andrew.
True Detective, new season of that.
Yeah.
Terrifier 3, obviously Nosferatu.
Yep.
I mean, Ghostbusters, kind of. That looks like it'll be fun.
Frozen Empire.
Frozen
looks
Empire.
good. I'll check it out.
Salem's Lot, apparently. Is that?
Say we finally gonna get fucking Salem's Lot next year. I hope so. Okay, fair.
I feel like there was something else, but I can't remember what it was.
That's fine. I had everything that you guys ripped off. I had on mine as well. There's also a new Wolfman coming out in 2024 in October with Lee Winnell directing. It was supposed to be Ryan Gosling, but it's a new guy doing it. And then I can't wait to see the new Toxic Avenger movie that's coming out.
Oh, yeah.
It's supposed to be really fun.
Peter
Dinklage playing the Toxic Avenger, and Kevin Bacon's in it, Elijah Wood, a bunch of people. So it looks pretty good. That was also released at a couple of different festivals this year, but not available for wide release until next year. So that would qualify for next year for me personally, because I know there was some back and forth about what actually qualifies for 2023.
If I can't watch it,
you can't watch it. It's
Right.
not a 2023 movie, or not a. Yeah, you get what I mean.
There's one I saw, just heard of today, and it was called Handling the Undead, and that is supposed to be one of the highest anticipated movies in general to come out next year.
Okay.
This year. So that's a foreign movie, but it's about like everyone's loved ones one day just come back to life, and it's the angle of how much that would actually disrupt everybody's life.
Okay.
So I think that's pretty interesting. Sounds right up my alley. Very bleak.
Beautiful.
Probably very fucked up.
Does sound like a Matt movie.
Yeah.
Through and through, for sure. Also, True Detective Night Country out in just a couple of weeks, and the first wave of reviews are in. And it's supposed to be very, very good, getting a lot of good reviews, comparing it to like season 1, which I guess we'll see. I reserve the right to, see what that if that's actually valid or not. But I like to hear it as long as it's going to be good. I don't really care. All right, that's what I got for quick hitting pre-top 10 categories, guys. You ready to move along here?
Let's do it.
All right, why don't we take a quick 90-second pause for a word from our sponsors? We'll be right back. All right, we're back. It's top 10 time, baby. Pretty excited for this one. And okay, so if you're new to this with us, we're gonna do it one specific way that is gonna help speed things up for us and for you, dear listener. Basically, we're just gonna rip through each of our movies 10 through 1. And we have a little rule that we kind of stole from the Colors of the Dark podcast. Borrowed. Yeah, I believe they call it the Bromley
Two
rule.
other podcasts I listened to that did their top 10s did the same.
It's a smart idea. There's no sense in repeating the conversation over multiple points. But basically, what we're going to do is we're gonna go around here, go through our 10 through 1. If somebody has a particular movie that's mentioned higher on their list, we're going to table the conversation until we come to the person who has it the highest on their list. I think that makes total sense. So basically, if a movie is said, one of you guys just has it higher on your list, just raise your hand. We'll keep moving. Now, listener, you won't be able to know who has it higher on the list, so that'll be knowledge for us, and we'll get to it eventually. But without further ado, Matt, do you want to kick us off with your number 10, my friend?
Number 1.
Yeah. It's like we pick who goes first.
We'll go in the same. No, we'll go in the same order as we did before. So Matt, Kat, Andrew, I'll go last.
All right. Number 10 for me for 2023 was Michelle Garza Cervera's with Sarah the Bone Woman. Very interesting movie. It's a Spanish movie. This was on Shudder. I think that was an exclusive release. This woman has a baby, and it's just her struggles with trying to kind of initially deal with that at first, but also dealing with some other sort of haunting, sinister situations going on, a witchy type deal. And she's trying to kind of decide if it's happening in real. There's a lot of sleeplessness and deciding what's real and what's not real, but there's some really, really jaw-droppingly shocking scenes in that movie that I was like, oh, no, don't do that.
Heard similar things. I have not gotten to this one yet personally. Kat, Andrew, have you guys seen this?
I did watch this movie. This was probably in my honorable mentions because it was a little slow, but it was there were some scenes that were just absolutely disgusting and just creepy and fucking weird. Like the end of this movie is insane.
Yeah.
It was really good. It was a little slow for me.
Definitely like a Spanish folk horror.
Yeah, very folk horror-y.
But
very folk horror.
It was funny because this came out early in the year. This was probably like a March or April movie. And it stayed in my top 10 and just kind of bounced around and then briefly came out and then very recently made it back into number 10. So I was like, you know what? No, because I really liked this movie when it first came out. So I got to give it its nod. That it's
extremely well done movie.
Yeah. And that's always the challenge too, is when you're trying to cram in a bunch of movies right before we record this, and trying not to let recency bias set in, which I appreciate that. Mm-hmm. All right, who's Sarah the Bone Woman? That'll definitely be one of the ones I'm going to check out. Like as we go ahead, I'll definitely let you know what I thought of it. All right, Kat, your number 10.
My number 10 is Saw 10.
Saw X.
10.
Okay. Well, Saw 10, Saw X, whatever they wanted. I don't think it was ever clear about what they actually wanted to call it. I don't know, but because it wasn't the 10th Saw movie, but it takes place in between 1 and 2.
Well, and that's that was the one thing I didn't really like, because I was like, well, clearly a lot of
socks.
What do they mean? Are like Star Wars and making like movies like all of a sudden go back to
George Lucas.
Yeah, right.
Ran out of ideas.
So Nope. Nobody else had
Go
this in
back
their
to
top
the
10. Andrew, Matt, no,
Nope.
no, I didn't either.
No?
Okay, but it definitely wasn't. It was
it was close.
It was close. It was close.
It almost
yeah,
was.
Yeah, kind of close.
It almost.
It was good. The
Yeah.
traps were good. I liked the whole idea of like frauds and stuff and like kind of exposing people. For
It had a
what
good
they do.
storyline.
It had a good
Yeah.
storyline.
I thought that was the strongest part about it. Obviously, the traps and the kills were good, but
Oh, they were gory.
it was
too.
a very plausible scenario where he would want to take revenge on these people, which I thought was an interesting angle to tackle. There, It was good.
Rough
Yeah.
way to make you sympathize with him, though.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because it's like that's the most terrible thing you can do. To
Yeah.
someone in that
Oh, God.
situation.
Yeah.
How awful.
Yeah, those people were
But it also
Terrible.
doesn't make you sympathize with him because he had already done this before.
true.
So, like, it makes you sympathize
Yeah.
with him killing.
But he
these
still has
people, but
this
he was still
kind of-
of a
Yeah, he has that kind of like playing God angle, though.
Yeah.
and all of them. So I
Yeah.
don't know.
For sure. All right.
Yes.
Saw X at number 10. Saw
Yeah.
Saw 10 at 10 for Cat, whatever it is. Saw X, Saw 10.
Thanks.
Beautiful. Andrew, number 10.
So number 10 for me, Pope's Exorcist again. bring it back.
Nice.
All these movies on the cusp. I had to just break it down because they're so close. This one I found to be the most enjoyable watch. It was just fun. It was like nice. It was like popcorn horror. Just have some popcorn, laugh a little bit, some just stupid like lines. There's one line from this movie where the little kid is like possessed and his mom's there and he just grabs her breast with his bare hands and he says, I can't remember exactly what he says, but it's like, what was it? What did he say? It was we'll come
It's
back
okay.
to that
It's
because I
okay.
can't remember. But it was basically like, give me your fucking tit, mom. I want to suck your breast. You never breastfed me, mommy. And then the daughter in the back, she was like, what the fuck? And it made me laugh because it was like such an obnoxious line in the movie. And I was like,
There's a lot of that in that
Yeah.
movie. Like,
Was-
you're
is-
just like,
is it rated
come
R?
on, dude.
that's
Yeah.
rated R, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
But
okay.
and there's going to be like 199 sequels as he hunts down every demon that
Oh,
ever exists.
awesome.
Basically.
Can't wait.
That's what I'm like.
It's gonna be Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe.
So,
demon
he's so
hunter.
big.
Yeah, he's big in that
Eating
movie.
a lot of
He's
spaghetti and
very big.
meatballs.
He's like John. He looks like John.
Riding around on
Yeah.
a Vespa, just
Yeah.
slaying demons.
All right, so the Pope's Exorcist at 10 for Andrew, which means we're on to me. My number 10 for this year, The Outwaters.
Ooh, this was my honorable mention.
Nobody else, huh?
Yep.
Wow. Okay, I'm a little surprised. This was right on the cusp for me. I almost had it just outside my top 10, but I think for me, this one swung for the fences, a lot like Skinamarink, but this one was a lot more effective for me personally than Skinamarink. Also, I had such a good time going to the screening of this with you, Matt. This was like the very beginning of 2023. It was an advanced screening of the movie before it hit Screenbox. We were invited by Bloody Disgusting to attend. There was a musical performance by the guy who did the music for the movie there, and then we get to see it. And honestly, probably one of the most disorienting theater experiences that I've ever had.
Yeah, seeing this in theaters definitely made an impact on the way I thought of the movie for sure. 'Cause
Yeah.
I think if I only watched it on TV, I probably
Yeah.
wouldn't have liked it as much.
I mean, I still don't even really know if I understand completely what the fuck happened in the entire movie, having seen it twice now. But it was very, very well done, very creepy, very messed up. And I mean, obviously, and we had the director on our show at the this year, which again, that's another awesome thing we did this year. So thanks again to
Mr.
Robbie
Banfitch.
Joe Banfitch for coming on the show. But yeah, I had Outwaters at my number 10, which means we're on to number 9. Matthew, you're number 9.
This was Ari Aster's Beau is Afraid.
I haven't
Ah,
Okay.
okay. All right. So we'll table a conversation on Beau is Afraid. Kat, you're number 9.
My number 9 is Five Nights at Freddy's.
Anyone else? No. Okay. Five Nights at Freddy's. This is definitely one of those movies that got a lot of hate this year, but made a ton of money.
I thought it was great. I think it's nostalgic for me because it's like going to Chuck E. Cheese and stuff. It's like super fucking weird. And then you're like,
I just
kind
didn't
of-
see it.
I didn't see it either.
I didn't hate this movie. I actually liked it. I thought it was definitely
it was really good.
there were a few parts in it where I was like, okay, all right, but like it's overall creepy. And again, I'm a sucker for nostalgia. very much Chuck E. Cheese feels. I've played one of the Five Nights at Freddy's games. They're definitely creepy. There's some iconic imagery.
I've never played the game. I just want to watch the
It's like a
This
point
is a
and click.
PG-13 one.
It's a PG-13
Yeah,
Blumhouse movie.
That's
but-
that's exactly. Well, I already watched one of those. I watched Megan this year.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
watching another.
I never watched it.
Oh, this was way better than Megan.
Okay.
Not even
You
close.
should watch it.
Also, all of the the animatronics were
figures,
all
they were
done.
awesome.
Yeah, they were all done by Jim Henson's Creature Shop too, which I feel like. So obviously they look really cool. They move really interesting. I didn't hate it, so I can totally respect you having it on your list.
Oh, thank you.
Of course, good little performance from Matthew Lillard in there as well.
Yes,
Stu
I love
from
him.
Scream.
Yeah, he's great.
All right,
And whoever the was it dad or the
the main
brother or
character.
something? I
Yeah,
forget.
the kid from Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah. Peter.
Yeah.
Was it Peter?
Peter Malak.
Was it?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, he was good too.
Yeah, I guess he was all right. All right, so Five Nights at Freddy's, number 9 for Catherine. All right, Andrew, what's your number 9?
Suitable flesh.
Okay.
I had a
Uh-oh.
feeling you would have that. higher.
That one just missed the cut for me as well. My number 9 was Cobweb.
Boo.
Okay, we're gonna table that conversation.
Boo.
Somebody
Don't
has
boo. Don't boo. You boo. You
It's
hit puppets.
his puppets. All right, that means we're on to number 8, Matthew.
All right, so my number 8 was Laura Moss's Birth, Rebirth.
Okay, I know you talked about this one recently.
You have
that
that higher?
Wow.
Yeah, that
Hate
was-
me, think and call me pretty.
All right, we're moving along now. Catherine, you're number 8.
Insidious, the Red Door.
Still haven't seen
Haven't
this
seen
one.
that one either.
I
Oh
know.
my gosh, you guys.
Sorry.
Your list is tracking with what you like, though. This
Yeah.
is exactly
There's
what
a
I
reason.
expected
Like
your
when I'm
list
coming
to
down to
be.
movies, I'm going to watch. I'm like,
Yeah.
This doesn't have the.
Well, it's the basic
Yeah.
Insidious movie, but it's cooler because it's now geared towards oh my god, what's the kid's name? Begins with a D.
Damien.
Dalton.
Dalton.
Yeah.
Dalton
yeah.
is now an adult.
Dalton.
He's in college and
Damien.
it's everything that like he hasn't done this in a really long time and all of a sudden these things happen to him and it, like so it's like the whole franchise has grown up with him, which is kind of an interesting thing. It's the same kid. So it's like that's a cool aspect and a lot of the same people, but they just haven't had a movie come out in a while. It was I liked it.
Alrighty.
Okay.
It was good.
So that would be, again, your number 8, correct?
Yes.
Number 8. All right, Andrew, you're number 8.
Talk to me.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's what I figured.
Okay. So we'll table the conversation on Talk to Me. My number 8 was The Boogeyman. Nobody else. All right, Boogeyman. No, I would have thought this would have made
Boogeyman.
Oh, well, you
watch it.
showed it
Yeah.
out.
I didn't watch
No.
that. I didn't watch that one either.
Really?
It was-
Yeah.
All right,
It was
so
good.
this one got, I feel like, again, got a lot of bad reviews, got a lot of hate. And this one is directed by Rob Savage, who did Host, which was the Zoom horror movie that came out during COVID, which was really fucking good. He also did Dash Cam, which is a fucking wild movie. So this one, interesting choice to see him take this movie, which is very, very, very loosely based on a Stephen King short story that's about 7 pages in length. And it takes.
Is it really that short?
Oh yeah, it's real quick.
I knew it was short, but
It's
I was
real
thinking about
quick,
that.
yeah.
It's gonna be
And
quick.
obviously that part is in this movie, but it's expanded out over an hour and a half. And most people would probably be like, well, how the fuck can you do that? But it's actually not a terrible story. The performances are pretty good. But the thing that kind of hit this out of the park for me
Come on.
was the creature design. The design of the Boogeyman was top tier. Very, very good.
Scary monster.
Very interesting character design. I really liked it, excuse me. And I think anytime that you try and do something different with a monster design, that's going to get bonus points from me. It was a very creative way of doing it. And yeah, I thought it was, for a PG-13 horror movie, it was pretty damn good.
The girl from Yellow Jackets was good too.
Yep. Girl who plays,
Yeah.
Nat in Yellow Jackets, young Nat is in it. And then David Dasmalchian, I think is how you pronounce
He's
his
in fucking
name.
everything,
Yeah,
dude.
he's gonna in the upcoming Late Night with the Devil. He's in another movie that'll probably come up later on. But yeah, he's good in this. Yeah, I dug the Boogeyman.
Yeah, the cat was like, that looks like Mike. I was, no, it doesn't.
Yeah, everybody looks like
Sam's
me
Club
apparently. Cat loves calling things Sam's Club version of whatever now. It's somebody.
Because I
She
said
heard
that
somebody.
once.
Yeah, she now.
At the horror.
I'm running with it.
When
I'm
you guys were
running
doing
with it.
the, I was like, it's the Sam's Club version of Mike sitting down at the bar.
Yeah.
Remember I walked up to you and said that? And you guys were doing
Oh yeah.
horror trivia.
Yeah.
Ever since then, she's been like,
Yeah, Sam's.
I was like, "Jeez."
Oh, that's what it was. It was the horror trivia. We were
that's
trying to
right.
figure out.
Okay, there it is. Well, there it is, Kat. Now your question's answered. So yeah, the Boogeyman at number 8 for me. Matt, what's your number 7?
My number 7
Origin.
is Cobweb.
Okay. All right. Anyone else have it on there?
No.
All right. So now we can have the conversation about
Boo.
Cobweb. Matt, why'd you like Cobweb, my friend?
It's a Halloween movie.
Yep.
It was. It surprised me. It had that kind of like you don't really know where it's going, and then it kind of goes in a couple different directions, and then it gets like off the fucking rails.
Yep.
It reminded me of *Malignant*. The way it has just it's finally you just get like a fucking massacre towards the end of the movie where everything just hits the fan. Everyone in it is fantastic. What's her name? Lizzie Kaplan's really good. Anthony Starr.
Yep.
He's good.
The guy who plays Homelander and The Boys, which I know a lot of people like that show.
What's the teacher's name?
Oh,
she's in Infinity Pool as well.
Oh, that's where I remember her from.
Yeah, she's
the doc. No.
Skarsgård's wife.
Yes. Yes.
Really?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes,
Oh,
yes.
yes.
Okay. Yep. Oh, see, I didn't
She's
put
really
that together.
good.
Yep.
But I just thought it was a really, really fun movie. I watched it a little after it came out, not by much though, maybe a month. And I remember being like, wow, this is a fun fucking movie.
Yep.
And it's that's going to be a yearly Halloween rewatch. That's like Trick or Treat and Cobweb are like one and the same kind of.
No, really?
I just think that they like this seems like it would be a side story in Trick or Treat.
I can see that.
I can see that.
You know what I
Okay.
mean? It just has
Because it's
that
such
level
a
of
bizarre
absurdity.
movie.
Yeah.
Another movie that had a pretty cool creature design, I thought, at the end, and it does go absolutely bananas. But it did have some like almost kind of like barbarian, Malignant, Black Phone
just
type
like you're
vibes.
like, whoa,
with weird
like
parents.
really thrown off by where it goes.
I almost put down Anthony Starr as one of my favorite horror performances of the year in this too, because he's such a fucking deranged weirdo in this.
Yeah.
As is Lizzie Kaplan.
Yeah,
they're both
freaks.
very, very good. But yeah, I really dug Cobweb a lot. I'm actually, Kat, I'm very surprised that you didn't like it. Cobweb and Boogeyman, I'm surprised you didn't like either of those.
They were fine. I liked Cobweb up until you saw the
See, that's where it took
and
off.
then
That's
I
where it
was
took off
like,
for me. Yeah.
no, I didn't like any of it. I didn't like
It was
way
more for
looked.
me. It was the idea of what the thing was. I was like,
Yes.
whoa, dude, like
Yeah,
it's twisted.
I don't know. It didn't. Once that happened, I was
All
not
right.
happy.
Fair.
It was better before.
All right, so Cobweb was at 9 for me. That was at number 7 for Matt. So which means we are on to
I
your
like how it was
7th pick.
Holdenfield instead of Haddonfield.
Yeah, I actually picked up on
I
that
didn't
too.
notice that.
Yeah.
My
So
turn?
you're number 7, Catherine. Yes.
Mine's Talk to Me.
Okay, that's
Do you
going to
have
be
it higher?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's higher. It's higher. Andrew, you're number 7.
Is Bo is Afraid.
I have it higher.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll table the conversation on Beau is Afraid for a little bit here. My number 7 was a Shudder exclusive movie, found footage little movie called Hell House LLC Origins,
I didn't
the
get to this
Carmichael Manor.
Oh yeah, I
That
have
was very close.
higher.
That was
You
another-
had that higher?
Oh,
Oh, wow. I was going to say, Jesus Christ.
I'm like, wow, that was good. I like that.
I
was
really
pretty
like
close to
this
getting
movie
it.
a lot.
I gotta watch. I only saw the first one, so
I had never
Yeah.
seen any of them. This was the only one I'd
Yeah.
seen.
I mean, I love found footage. I'm a found footage completionist. I really enjoy the first movie in this franchise. The other movies I don't think I've seen, but I did hear like when this was released, like you can kind of it's like kind of you can kind of skip the other sequels and just watch the first one and then this.
Okay.
Which if you've only seen the first one, you're not missing a whole lot from the other sequels. It's kind of very much tied into the first one, and it's just a very creepy found footage like haunted house story, and it's really, really good. I dug this movie a lot. It's about all I can really say. Because with found footage, I mean, you can't really spoil too much. It's all based on the scares and the camera work and the tricks they pull, and they do. This one was really effective with that stuff. So
The end of this movie is wild.
oh yeah, the ending is really crazy.
Real culty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of cult stuff. If you're scared of clowns like I am, this is probably not a movie that you want to watch. But Hell House LLC Origins, the Carmichael Manor was my number 7. That's a very long title. But yeah, love that movie. Thought it was really, really good. Which means we're on to number 6, right?
6.
Matthew, you're number 6.
All right. Well, a little less than 10 years ago, Anthony DeBlasio made a movie, and he redid it this year with a little more oomph to it, and called it Malum. And I thought this movie kicked fucking ass. Last Shift kicks ass.
Mm-hmm.
This one I thought was even better. It fleshed out the story a little bit more. I liked the background with her father and everything.
Mm-hmm.
The whole cult thing. Awesome fucking practical effects and makeup and everything.
Top tier. Yep.
Unreal. So this when this first came out, I was like, this was a top 3 movie for me when it first came out.
This just missed the cut for me. Just
Really?
Yeah,
missed
this
the
was
cut.
another one right in that range too. I was like, have trouble where to put that.
Yeah, I dug this movie a lot too. It was really, really good. Practical effects. Really.
So I think I
good as
like the original one better for some reason. I don't know why.
It's grainier. I get
Yeah.
that. Like, because I don't get me wrong, I like that one, and
Yeah.
I went back and watched that one again too. And they're both good, but I just like having that backstory a little more.
It's kind of nice.
And it just set a better like stage for everything, especially when you already know how it's going to go down. I was like,
I feel like that's what I need. I should have just rewatched towards the end of the year because I watched it so long ago that I was probably like,
there's a really, really cool physical media release of it that I want.
Oh, really?
My fucking little grubby little hands.
Let me get
Nice.
these.
Nice.
Let me get this.
All right, so Malum at number 6 for Matt. And we actually did a full episode on Malum a few months ago, back when it came out. So go back and check that one out once you've seen that movie if you'd like to. All right, that means we're on to you, Kat, for your number 6.
Dark Harvest.
Dark
Harvest.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we watched this one together.
We did. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Wait, did we podcast about it?
We did do a podcast on Dark Harvest.
Yeah,
That's right.
I was
Actually, so
thinking-
yeah, all of us saw
I
it,
was
right?
like, we all saw it, right?
I think all 4 of us saw it. And talked about it.
I like it because it's that whole teenager vibe that I dig for whatever reason for horror movies, and I thought it's cool to, the whole concept of it. I thought was interesting. I thought it was a fun movie, and I'd watch it again. I liked it.
Very good monster design in this one too.
Very good
Cool
monster.
creature design.
The what's his face? Saw Jack.
Sawhill Jack,
Saw-
spring Sawtooth Jack, something like
Sawtooth
that.
Jack.
Swimmy.
Yeah.
Samsonite.
Sawtooth Jack. Yeah. That whole thing. I
Yeah,
thought it was cool.
that was pretty cool. That wasn't a bad
That was a good
movie at all.
Dark Harvest is another one that I could see turning into a yearly Halloween
Yeah.
rewatch for people because it's got that very big time Halloween vibes.
Right.
I mentioned this when we did the whole episode on the movie, but I feel like I wish they had fleshed out the mythology behind everything a little bit more because they left that very vague.
More
which,
monster.
yeah, which I'm sure a lot of people like that they kind of kept things hidden and vague, but I would have liked a little bit more background there. All right, Dark Harvest at 6 for Kat. Andrew, your number 6
was Birth, Rebirth.
Okay.
And you didn't have it, right? You
I did not.
I had it. That was my number 8.
All right. So this movie was really fucking weird.
Yeah, it was fucked
It's
up.
like another one of those like horror movies where like you're a mom or you're pregnant and it's just what awful shit could possibly happen in your life. And that happens to like everybody in this movie.
I was just saying it hits every angle about having a
Motherhood,
kid.
yes, having a
So
kid,
there's
yeah.
something scary for every possible stage
Yeah.
of that.
It's like, ugh, good God.
Someone's trying to obstruct your pregnancy. There's someone
Because they
that's
need something from
child
it.
dies.
God.
Yeah,
It's basically like
fucked up.
the lead actress in this movie, Marin Ireland. She is up there with one of like the performances of the year.
She was creepy.
so creepy in this movie.
And
She's
then
basically
Carla
like
from
a
Scrubs.
pathologist. Yeah, I was wondering who that was. I was like, why do I know this person? And I looked, I was like, that's who it is. Yeah, she's basically Marin Ireland's like a pathologist who works down in like the morgue of a hospital and does all the
Things.
help me with the word
Toxicology,
autopsies,
stuff like
yeah.
that,
and she's basically been doing some sort of scientific research on her own on like how to like rebirth somebody after they
Yeah,
die.
it's like a Frankenstein type
Yeah.
deal, but
So-
using like stem cells and
Oh, that's so
And using
strange.
amniotic fluid
Yeah.
and but
and then
like,
she basically
so
just
she keeps impregnating herself and getting abortions and using that to like
To
fuel
help.
Oh my
yeah.
God.
yeah to help. Like she has like a pig that she like
Jesus.
rebirthed living with her.
But then she runs out, and when she realizes she kept Carla from Scrubs' child alive, which it plays on the desperation of like grief,
Yeah.
really, really, really
Yeah,
heavily.
the ending of this movie is so fucked.
It's really brutal. So, and you have her like immediately kind of signing on to like do what she's got to do. They're in shifts working with her,
Ugh.
watching her daughter come back. She died of like bacterial meningitis.
yeah, and she didn't
As,
even
like,
know
6
that
years
she like
old.
stole her daughter, and then she finds her
and then just
in the
immediately
lady's
like
house, and then
gets
she's just like,
yeah.
good, okay, let's do this.
So she's stealing amniotic fluid from this patient that keeps coming in, and they keep botching the report so that she has to keep coming in to do it. It's just like
and then
it's
that doesn't work
fucking
anymore because the lady
horrible.
changes hospitals, and then
it just goes from there.
off
yeah.
the rails.
Yeah, it's just so awful. But
Sounds like a really rip roaring, kick ass, fun for the whole family
So
type.
that's
of
one of
deal.
those that
This
one movie
bleak.
from last year that remind me of. Oh,
Men? No.
who was in it? She was phenomenal.
the one with Rebecca Hall and Tim Roth.
Yeah, Resurrection.
Similar similar vibes. Feels like that movie.
Yeah. Okay.
But it also has a lot of like procedural medical stuff.
Yeah, it's
that,
very
like always gets under my fucking skin. Like,
it's like really.
Right.
Gives you the willies.
It was a bleak. It was a fucked up.
It's very
movie.
bleak.
Yeah.
Icky. All right.
As soon as I saw that you had watched that, you were like, "Dude, this was fucking bleak." I was like, "Oh, gotta get that
like,
one."
yep, let's do it. The Bleak Brothers over here, pairing up on bleak ass movies. All right, so that's number 6, Birth Rebirth for Andrew.
That was my number 8.
All right, and Matt's number 8. My number 6 was Unwelcome. Nobody else had it there. Anybody else see this?
Didn't we watch that movie with the little fucking like gnome guy?
No, so I told you I told you about this movie, and I don't know if
it's like an Irish horror movie.
Yes. Yeah. So basically, all right. Great. So again,
forgot about
this movie, by the way, I absolutely loved. At the time that I saw this, I think I saw it before the rest of you guys. I had heard it described as Gremlins meets Straw Dogs. The Dustin Hoffman movie. So it honestly not a bad comparison, right?
Fucking thing I've ever heard.
Here's the premise. Here's the premise. It is an Irish film, so obviously bonus points from me. But the guy that directed this movie, whose name?
Are you trying to tell me that it's if Gremlins were the antagonist of a rape?
You'll get
involved in it. They don't have anything to do with it, but they.
So this is directed by a guy named John Wright, who also directed Grabbers, which is another awesome Irish horror movie that we covered on the podcast a long time for St. Patrick's Day. So basically, the whole movie starts off with a couple living in London, and there's a home invasion that happens, and the wife or the fiance or wife is pregnant at the time, and there's an attack. It's pretty bad. And as a result of this attack, they decide they want to leave the big city and move to the countryside. It just so happens that the husband's grandmother or great aunt, something like that, had just passed away and has this home in the Irish countryside where they go to live. They arrive. The locals are not very friendly, which is where you get the Straw Dogs vibe a little bit. And the locals are played by Colm Meaney, who's an awesome Irish actor. You've seen him in a bunch of stuff. He was in Always Sunny in the season when they go to Ireland. It's got Jamie Lee O'Donnell, who plays Michelle in Derry Girl. It's got the guy who plays Hodor in Game of Thrones. They're all in the same family. And awesome. They kind of start to terrorize these people when they move into this new house in the Irish countryside. And there's also this weird little thing happening out in their garden where there may or may not be these little supernatural Irish folk beings that you're supposed to leave offerings for and do certain things, or things might turn bad for you. Hence the Gremlins vibes. Huh. So I really dug this movie a lot. I'm not going to say anything more about it than that. It's like you should definitely
two separate movies. The first half of the movie, and then all of a sudden you go fucking. What the fuck
absolutely. But when it does take that turn towards the end, the effects are very good. It's very funny.
I forgot about this movie.
It's a real. I liked it a lot. So yeah, I had a feeling that you probably would have liked it.
I didn't even have it in my watch list because I didn't realize that I watched it.
Yeah, so that's Unwelcome. Really liked that one a lot. That's my number 6, which means we're on to number 5. Matthew.
No one said it yet, so I imagine unless we all have it at 5, it's a higher on everybody's list. Lee Cronin, Evil Dead Rise.
Yep.
I didn't watch it.
Oh, you never saw that. Right? That's right.
All right. Well, that'll be tabled until later. Kat, you're number 5.
Mine's Beau is Afraid.
Okay. Anyone else have it higher?
Nope, I had it at 7.
7. Matt?
9.
At 9. All right, so Kat had it the highest. All right, talk about Beau is Afraid. This just missed the cut for me also.
Oh, I thought it was awesome.
It was awesome.
He played a really interesting character guy. You didn't really know what was wrong with him for most of the time, or what was going on. Like, things would just shift from one thing to another. Like, if you're watching this, if you're a little bit stoned or a little bit drunk, you're like, then seeing everything from his perspective and like from his own mental instability, like is absolutely insane. Cause like just imagining like living life like that with that much crazy anxiety or like just hallucinating over things is like his perspective was insane.
Might have been the most uncomfortable movie to watch all year, just in terms of like stress levels and everything.
Oh, yeah.
The thing for me with this movie was what made it scary, because it like I was like, oh man, this is too much. And like Ari Aster he's very good at putting you in situations you have no fucking business being a part of. There's specifically 4 situations in this movie that everything's kind of like going, and then out of nowhere it just goes fucking off the rails and it's out of control. It's the bathtub scene at the beginning where he runs out and gets hit by the bus, which is like, it's like so insane that it's funny.
It is funny.
Like it is funny. The scene with the girl when she drinks paint, which was like way too much. Like I was like, whoa, dude, like that was not fucking cool. Then he's at the play outside and there's like a mass shooting at it.
That was fun.
Which was fun. And then when he's having sex with the girl and she just dies.
That was like way too much.
Crazy shit.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that movie was fucking.
It was insane. The mass shooting
bananas.
scene was a lot, dude. Especially like Terrifier 2 had one.
I was to say, this is the second year in a row that we've talked about a movie on a top 10 that had a mass shooting scene.
It's fucked up to like see it happen in a movie. So.
Also, have to say, there was obviously some good performances this year. I think in the conversation, because I know Kat mentioned, and Matt, you mentioned Joaquin Phoenix and Beau Was Afraid is one of your favorites. Nathan Lane and Parker Posey in this movie, both, and especially Nathan Lane.
Is Parker Posey the girl from The Office?
Yes, she is like the one that dates Michael.
Like his, like, yeah.
And also Patty DuPont, I believe, who plays the older version of his mom that you see, like the she was really good.
The end of the movie too was like, it was upsetting. And it's just like you're like watching him just basically everyone's just shaming him for every bad thing he did, and then they just kill him. Well,
and supposedly, I think you, Matt, I know you're big into Ari Aster, as we all kind of are to a certain extent, but I think you're into him the most. This is like the first movie he ever wanted to make, right? But he couldn't get anyone to let him make it.
I think he had to kind of get his name established a little bit, because it is like, I can 100% see why anyone would not like this movie. Because it is crazy. It's like, what is this even about? It's like a Lord of the Rings on if meets like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. It's like just like out of fucking control, but at the same time, it's just like epic fucking journey. But the paint scene, I remember the paint scene for me specifically was like the one that I was like, ugh, like that was a horrible fucking thing to see. It just happens so fast. And it's just like you can't nothing. You just like want to be like stop. And dude, like the bloodshot fucking yellowed eyes after. I was like, oh my god, dude.
Yeah, there was a lot to unravel with that movie.
Sure was.
It was heavy.
Something else. It was quite a while. It was 3 hours. It was 3 hours long, but that did not feel 3 hours.
Yeah, it kind of flew by.
It felt like 2 hours, to be honest. I don't think there was a few like slower, but like pretty much it was just chaos.
It was you couldn't look
3 hours of chaos.
A little chaos. I was like, I feel so stressed out right now.
Right?
I had to stop like every 30 minutes just to like have like a cigarette break. It's like I'm stressed.
It was a stressful watch, but that's like I don't know.
That's like every movie.
That's what you expect.
And that's Ari Aster's Beau Is Afraid at number 5 for Kat. Andrew, you're number 5.
My number 5 is The Passenger.
Nope.
Nobody
else.
You guys even hear this movie?
No.
Okay, so it's like wait.
I might have.
So it was directed by Carter Smith. He also did The Ruins.
Okay.
He did Swallowed. I never saw Swallowed.
I would say that. Well, didn't Swallowed come out this year?
Yeah, I think it came out beginning of this year. Yeah.
Oh, so we released 2 movies this year. Shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, that was technically released.
I think one of them definitely had a previous festival.
Oh,
that's what it was.
Yep.
I didn't like Swallowed.
So basically, I think they never say where they are, but the shooting was done in Louisiana. And it's about this kid, Bradley, who's basically, he gets up, leaves to go to work at, it's kind of like a Burger King, but it's on just like dirt road. There's like nobody in this fucking town. You can tell it's just like this awful place to just exist probably. So he goes into work and it's him, 2 other co-workers who are basically a guy and a girl who are basically all over each other, don't care about working. They're just like making out at work because it's Burger King. He takes his job way too seriously. He's like one of those overachievers
type deal.
And then there's this other like quiet kid that's just like mopping the floor the whole time. And the jerk off with the girlfriend that works there starts picking and bullying Bradley. And he like forces him to eat like a burger from the night before, like in front of him. And the other kid, Benson, basically, you can just see he's just getting annoyed the whole time. So he walks out to his car, starts smoking a cigarette, and then takes like 3 hauls busts out a shotgun and walks in and just starts blowing everybody away. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Wow.
So that scene was brutal. I was not expecting that. I was like, Jesus Christ. So basically, he doesn't kill Bradley, the kid that was getting, but he kills the manager and the two other people. And they leave, and he basically is like, he's tapped in the head, obviously, because he just blew everybody away. But he's basically pissed off at this kid for never standing up for himself. And he wants to get to the root of why he is the way he is. He's like, I'm going to help you out. This is going to be to help you out. So he takes him to do like these wicked, like fucked up, like awkward things that you would never want to do in your life. And yeah, it's a weird, violent movie. Like certain parts,
The
it's just
Passenger.
The Passenger.
Yeah, it was very good.
Never even heard of it.
It was
check that one out.
yeah, first like 5-10 minutes of that movie, like Jesus Christ, it's like another one of those. And
Yeah.
but it's actually like it's a very interesting story. It's not so much horror as it's like, I mean, it's horror, but it's
Sounds like definitely a horrific situation
Yeah,
to be
it's-
in. So
yeah.
I mean, that sounds about as much horror as Beau is Afraid
yeah,
is.
to be in that guy's situation, it must have been horrifying.
Absolutely. Okay, and that's called The Passenger. Where can people find that one? You know,
What did I watch that on? It was free. I think it was on
Tubi.
Amazon, maybe.
Amazon. Okay. The Passenger
I
at
didn't pay for
number
it, I don't know.
5 for Andrew.
Oh yeah.
All right. My number 5 was Brandon Cronenberg's Infinity Pool. All right, so we're going to be tabling the conversation on that one. As wow, I'm kind of surprised at that reaction. Everybody
Everyone
had
had
higher. Every single person had it higher.
I'm not surprised by that at all. The movie fucking rocks.
It's a good movie. All right, Matthew, you're number 4.
Talk to me.
I had it at
I had
8.
7.
Okay, so Matt's the highest. Just
Talk to
missed
me.
the cut for me.
Yep, this was it'll load. Michael Philippou
good-
and Danny
Good say,
Philippou
gotta
brothers.
say, yeah. Say good luck pronouncing that. I
Who-
feel like that
who-
name
who?
is a couple of.
Philippou.
They're Australian or from New Zealand, right?
Australia.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
I love this movie.
Yeah,
So
this
good.
movie was sick. I didn't think I was like I always had like with what the order it came out. Like Infinity Pool was one of the first movies I saw this year, so I really enjoyed that one. But when I was anticipating Talk to Me,
Yeah.
really wanted to see it in theaters, and just I didn't get to. But I finally like when it came onto VOD, I think I bought it. I was like, I'm just gonna buy it and I'll just watch it. And I was like, it doesn't stop.
Yeah.
It just fucking gets going,
Yeah.
and it's scary as fuck.
Oh yeah.
Like it is like when you right off the bat, like when they play the game, you see what they see in front of them, and you're like, whoa, fuck,
Yeah.
is that going to be this whole movie like that?
Yeah.
The metaphor it has for teens doing drugs was fucking great.
Yep.
Definitely, it's bleak, it's fucked up. But man, this movie just like it goes and goes and goes, and then once it gets to like its main kind of what do you want to call it, the du jour,
Yeah,
the
it's
soup of the day, then it really fucking
The cream of the crop.
it just gets fucking miserable.
yeah.
Like it gets really dark.
Yeah.
The depiction of hell that you see in this movie
Oh, that's so
is
fucked.
insane.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah.
And it's just I don't know. What do you guys think?
Cat,
It's
Andrew?
super
We all have-
uncomfortable.
we
You're
all
super
have
uncomfortable.
this,
It
right?
reminds me,
I
it's
did
not
not.
even
You
similar.
didn't
I
have
mean,
this on your top 10?
It just missed the cut for me.
I don't think it's like close to like even, but for some reason it gives me It Follows vibes, even though it's really not.
So that's what I was going to
Similar?
say.
It's a
So
teenage kind of
Maybe, but it's
So-
also some just like creepy. It's just creepy fucking shit going on.
this reminded me too much of other movies for me to consider it like original enough to
thought it
like
was original.
blow me out of the water.
I liked the idea of the hand and the like relic thing, and like how they were. It was like how Matt said, like it's as if they're doing drugs.
Yeah,
like
like
it's
this,
this
yeah,
forbidden
everything's on in
thing.
Yeah.
video. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously, huge metaphor there.
The acting was phenomenal too. They did
Oh, yeah.
fantastic.
I will say the fact that this is those two kids, like they were like what, they're TikTok stars, and this is the first movie they've ever directed, is fucking incredible.
Well, and
that
they're
happened.
also now adapting it to like today's lifestyle, where people are, filming everything.
Everything. Yeah.
and,
Everything's
like,
on video.
yeah,
Yeah.
as a lifestyle, because I feel like our generation is like, don't take a picture of me, don't videotape me, I don't want any of my shit out there. Meanwhile, everyone's like, camera in your face. Like,
The other thing too is like when you see a movie that's like primarily about teenagers, it's usually pretty corny because it's like
right?
no one fucking acts like that.
Yeah.
This was pretty.
Yeah,
This was pretty spot on.
legit.
They-
Yeah, pretty accurate, I'd say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't hate it. It just there were other movies that I preferred more this year, and I feel like this was another one of those movies where it was so hyped up. Highest grossing A24 movie of all time now, right? I think A20. Talk to me. I believe it surpassed Hereditary.
Oh,
So, and they're already making a sequel to this. It just, with that high of expectations, I was let down slightly, is what I will say. So I didn't hate it. I liked it. Didn't love it as much as some of the other stuff I liked this year. All right. That is Talk to Me. And who had that? Sorry, that was Matt at number 4, correct? Kat, you're at number 4.
Infinity Pool.
I have it at number 4 too.
Okay.
Oh, he's higher
And
than
Matt is higher
Okay,
than
so
that.
yep.
So then you say 4, so we
Yep.
skip to Mike.
Yep.
Yep.
My number 4 was Renfield. Kat has it higher. Okay. All right.
Wow.
Table of conversation on Renfield. Matt. Oh wow, we're really moving now, folks. We are really moving.
Getting to the top 3 now.
Matt, you're number 3.
Infinity Pool.
Hey, all
Brandon
right.
Cronenberg.
Yeah, I've been chomping at the bit to talk about this one because I just saw
watched it
this
yesterday.
recently. Yeah, very, very much recently. So go ahead, talk to me about Infinity Pool.
So, like I said, this was my first theatrical watch of the year. It was probably one of my first horror watches of the year, if not second or third. A lot of fun. A lot of fun to see in theaters. The title card is fucking super cool.
Yep.
You get a nice big warning. Did you have a warning before you watched it?
For the epileptic.
epilepsy
Yep,
thing?
we did. Yep. On
That
on
was
Hulu, it had
exciting.
That.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kat,
Yeah.
I was saying,
Yeah.
Kat was also very into the title card and the opening credits and everything.
With
Yeah.
the
Very
typography
European.
and
Yep,
the-
yep,
yeah,
she
everything
had
was
that. She said
awesome.
it
was
right
really
away.
cool.
As a graphic designer by trade, she immediately noticed that.
I think it's really cool.
Immediately drawn into the story. Incredibly interesting situation where you have this basically a fictional city in like Turks and Caicos or something, right?
I don't even know if they said
Seems like
where it
it's
was
somewhere
supposed to
down
be.
there, though, yeah.
But it was definitely a fictional place, obviously. Yeah,
But-
I know it was filmed in Croatia.
Okay.
So I don't know if it was supposed to be in that area of the world or
It
like.
was-
I know
Yeah.
that like they
It looked
talk
very
about
tropical.
like the Turks.
Like,
Yeah.
So
Yep. Okay.
but they basically what happens is if you're found guilty of any sort of serious crime, you can be executed or you can be cloned and let your clone get executed
But you have
for
to
a
pay
lot
for
of
the
money.
clone.
Right.
Yeah.
So
the
you have to
Americans
be
and
a rich person to
Yeah.
do that. And so basically you're watching Skarsgård, who is this like kind of failed writer, immediately find his purpose within this group of people who are like adore him. And they keep just getting in trouble and cloning themselves and kill. But you're like the whole time you're just like he's losing pieces of himself every time. You make a clone of a clone of a clone of a clone.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So and it was so interesting and it's just vicious the way they execute people.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's like Jesus Christ. Again, another.
And all the stuff that they're doing is like there's like they commit a fucking horrific home invasion. There's like
Yeah.
one of the scariest home invasion scenes
Yeah, and they should
This is like
since Funny Games.
This is
in this
like
fucking movie.
funny games like Clockwork Orange.
Yeah.
Home Invasion,
Like
type
full
crazy
blown,
shit. Yeah.
like over the top, and then like you have Mia Goth, who is just the ringleader, of
Unhinged.
fucking chaos.
Oh yeah.
And then it spirals out of control where she's the scene where she's sitting on the hood of the car,
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
reading all like the bad
absolute
reviews of his
maniac.
book.
just making fun of ruining this guy's life.
Yeah, pulls him under the bus, and she's got him like on a fucking like
Yeah.
dog leash, and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just like, dude, it gets out of
Oh, yeah.
control.
Yeah, that movie was nuts. Also, you get how creepy were the fucking masks that
Yeah.
they had too, like
Yeah,
the native
those are really
masks.
The cool thing when I
Wild.
saw it in theaters, I had no idea what it was about at all whatsoever. I knew it was a Brandon Cronenberg movie. I knew that who's this? Not Bill Skarsgård, but
This is Alexander.
Alexander
Skarsgård.
Skarsgård and Mia
Skarsgård.
Goth were in it.
Yep.
And that it was just some crazy movie where people wore masks and committed crimes.
Yeah, you
Yep.
didn't know anything else
Yeah.
other than that. You're like, what the fuck?
And then when I realized what they do to people, I was like, and it's sad. You're like watching.
It's a very depressing movie.
It was another movie that kind of had to do with like people being unable to just like separate themselves from this like partying lifestyle.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it's just like you're just like watching this person just become a shell of who they were.
Right.
Like his wife leaves, and then it's just like any motivation he would have had to write a new book is like
It's gone.
gone.
It's
Like
gone,
you're just
yeah.
like, this dude's just fucked
He's
up.
lost himself.
Yeah, and then they have the
Um,
most crazy fucking orgy scene.
Yeah.
arguably.
Yeah, like the visuals in this are spectacular, and I feel like this is definitely.
Visuals are
Visuals is spectacular.
Well, I meant like
I-
there's a lot of nudity in
It
it,
was
obviously,
your
but like
timing was fine.
yeah, I didn't mean it like that, but like the cinematography and like the way things are filmed, very interesting. And I think, Brandon Cronenberg is one of those names now. You kind of have to like see everything that he comes out with because Successor was awesome. And this was awesome. Possessor, not Successor. Possessor was great. This, by the way, was filmed in Croatia. Croatia, Budapest, and in Toronto. But
he's from Toronto.
Yeah, he's Canadian. But I thought it looked very much like the tropics, which was I don't know.
I thought it was more like Turkey, Greece, like that area.
Yeah, that actually, good point. Could be that too. All right, so that's Infinity Pool, and that was at number 3 for Matt. Okay, which means that we are at number 3 for Kat.
Oh, Renfield.
Okay, let's talk about Renfield.
Renfield.
I thought we were at 2. I thought it was a funny movie. I had no idea what I was going into it, what I was going to expect, and I really liked it and want to watch it again.
Okay, succinct, precise, to the point. I think for me, I was looking forward to this one. I look back, I actually had this on one of my most anticipated 2023 horror movies last year. We did this category. And I think this all comes down to me. It was a ridiculous movie. The Nick Cage performance as Dracula was fantastic. And I like the way that they kind of had some reverence for all of the old school Dracula movies. Like I think the opening scenes where they're inserting Nicholas Hoult as Renfield and Nick Cage as Dracula into a lot of the older Dracula movies as like themselves in character was fucking awesome. I'm a total Universal Classic Monsters nerd, as you guys know, and I've mentioned this podcast a million times. So anything with the Universal Classic Monsters, I'm into. Definitely much more of a horror comedy, but with that said, the violence and the gore in this is so insane. Over the top, it's fucking outrageous. Like there's a whole scene where Nicholas Hoult is just he rips an arm off somebody and is beating people to death with like cartoon levels of blood with the severed arm.
There's a Pope explosion.
There's a Pope explosion. Like it's absolutely insane.
Pope explosion.
But yeah, and obviously, come for the Dracula and stay for Nicolas Cage as Dracula because he's fucking awesome. So that was really, really good.
It was a good movie.
Yeah,
that was actually surprisingly funny too.
Yeah,
there's like that.
It was funny.
Like the scene where he's helping the cop and he just like cuts the guy's arms off.
Yeah.
And afterwards she's like, did I see you cut someone's arms off with like a folding table or something?
Yeah. How much of the fact that this landed at number 3 for you was due to the fact that Lizzo has a song in this movie, given how much you love Lizzo?
I do like, wasn't that like the ending credit though?
No, there was a scene where Renfield's like redecorating his apartment.
I forgot about that. That actually, that did bump it up a few.
Fun stuff.
Yeah.
That's
Lizzo and Renfield. All right, so Renfield at number 3 for Kat, and I had that at my number 4. Renfield. Andrew, you're number 3.
Evil Dead Rise.
That's going to be tabled for a little bit longer, as I have a feeling will this next movie. My number 3 was a little Shudder exclusive called When Evil Lurks. So we'll table that conversation for a little bit, which means we're on to number 2. Matthew, you're number 2.
So I had a lot of fun with this movie. This was Joe Lynch's Suitable Flesh.
Ooh, wow!
I was wondering who had that because I was like, I picked it at 9. I'm like, who else had that? You didn't have it?
No, I didn't.
You didn't have it.
Just was the cut.
I love Reanimator and From Beyond.
Yep.
I'm drawing a fucking blank on his name right now. The director,
Stuart Gordon.
Stuart Gordon. Thank you.
Yep.
This was such a love letter to Stuart Gordon. This movie was a lot of fucking fun.
Yeah.
It was mayhem the whole time. And it was just, I love watching, and Barbara Crampton. I love just watching how it just kind of ping ponged all over the place. And you're just watching it build until it just goes ape shit. Really cool premise. The body swapping type thing is always fun, especially if it's done right. And if that's that's how they did it in this one, and you're like, oh, if there's somebody diabolical involved, that's when it really kind of it gets fun. I don't give a shit about Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis.
Freaky Friday,
or like Rob Schneider and like some fucking chick. But like, this was a lot of fun, and it was interesting. And once it gets going, it's fucking gory as shit. And I felt like I was watching a movie made by Stuart Gordon.
Yeah. This is another movie. I feel like the performances were pretty awesome in it too. What's the kid's name that plays like the main evil kid? I forget the actor's name. Heather Graham's good in it.
Bruce Davison.
He's phenomenal. Really good. I was going to mention him, but yeah, I feel like everybody in this is pretty good.
Judah Lewis.
Judah Lewis. That's who he is. Yep. Barbara Crampton, obviously still very good in this as well. Yeah, again, just missed the cut for me. Just missed it.
Yeah,
but I really like this movie as well.
One.
Yeah. Yep. This was like right in that second tier that just missed the cut for me. All right, so Suitable Flesh at 2 for Matthew. Kat, you're number 2.
Knock at the Cabin.
Knock at the Cabin.
Anyone else?
Another one that just missed.
It's a good movie, but it
this was like I think my number 11 or 12. Yeah,
there's a cusp.
Yeah.
Well, I liked the premise. I thought it was cool. I thought that the whole time it like kept you on your seat. What's his face? The guy that
Dave Bautista. Yep.
Yeah. What's his face? He was awesome throughout this whole thing. You were really questioning what was going on the entire time. Like, it really kept my attention. I definitely watched it again. He was really good. And that's all.
That's all, folks.
The news clips kept me in it.
Those kept me very
The
entertaining.
news clips kept me in it because I was like, you're just watching like devastation happen around the world.
That was similar.
And you're like, who the fuck am I supposed to like listen to? Because then they were like, well,
right.
this dude like beat the shit out of me in a bar, and that that happened, right?
That's similar to another one that I watched. You watched it. The
the Netflix movie.
The Netflix movie.
Yeah, with Julia Roberts.
Leave everything behind.
It was similar to that.
I haven't seen that yet.
If the ending of this movie wasn't so sparkles and foo-foo lame rainbows, I would have liked it a lot more. It was too much of a happy ending.
It should have been bleak. It needed to be a bleak.
The book was a very different ending, by the way. Very much more dark. So I can see why they might have wanted to, sunshine it up a little bit. I think this is easily M. Night Shyamalan's best movie in a long time.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I liked it better than
it was his best movie.
Better than Split. I liked it better than the sequel to Split.
Yeah, I think that definitely
I did like the movie, but the ending is just like I was like, oh come on, dude.
Yeah, just give me
like,
something.
Yeah. It was just everything.
Some payoff. I need payoff. I need payoff.
Yeah.
And for payoff, I need something terrible.
Yeah, definitely an uplifting ending. Which the book again, written by Massachusetts' own Paul Tremblay, not uplifting at all. So, all right, Knock at the Cabin at 2 for Kat. Andrew, number 2.
When Evil Lurks, which I had a feeling was going to be your top one.
And I had that at number 3, so it's higher for somebody. My number 2. Nobody else had this one. I already know. I don't think, at least. Would be The Last Voyage of the Demeter.
Wow.
Yep. I absolutely loved this movie. Kat, you have terrible taste in movies because I already know what your number 1 movie is. And you don't really have any sort of leg to stand on here.
This is why.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, Last Voyage of the Demeter, movie what I was looking forward to for a long time. Again, as a Dracula fan, Dracula nerd. This is based on one chapter of Bram Stoker's Dracula, based on the ship that brings Dracula from Transylvania to England. And the chapter is pretty much all told through captain's logs of people just disappearing on the boat, and this kind of fills in the gaps of that story. Directed by Andre Overdahl, who directed Troll Hunter and Autopsy of Jane Doe. He also did, I'm missing one of his movies, but he's a good director. This is a brutal, savage, carnivorous, total, not Bela Lugosi, suave version of Dracula that's awesome.
Yeah.
Very much Nosferatu, like a Batman type creature, not like, Bruce Wayne, but an actual bat creature.
Pigman.
Pigman. And I just thought the story was really good. I know a lot of people did not like this. I feel like this is one of those movies that's going to gain traction in future years. I don't know why people didn't like it.
It's a period piece.
Yeah, period piece.
I have a hard time with them, dude.
But big sets, like big, awesome costuming. I thought the characters in it were really good. I like Liam Cunningham, who was
he's always good.
Davos in Game of Thrones. He was real good. Another movie with David Dasmalkian, Corey Stoll, I believe. No, not Corey Stoll.
The scene where they burn the guy up on the stake was excellent.
Awesome stuff. And this was PG-13, I believe. No, it's R. Sorry, it's R. But because I remember we talked about that was covered in the episode.
2 vampire movies in the top 5.
You got animal deaths in this, child deaths in this, all kinds of shit, and an awesome teaser of an ending that probably will never get a sequel of what actually happens when Dracula does arrive. But I don't know. It didn't do very well at the box office, so we might not get that movie. But I really thought Last Voyage of the Demeter was awesome. I don't know what everybody else is on or missing about this movie.
Pass.
I absolutely loved it. So Last Voyage of the Demeter.
That's another cusp
2
movie for me. It was right on my cusp.
Dug it. Thought it was awesome. This is one of the few movies that I did see in theaters this year, which I feel like helped the experience for me.
That definitely helped.
This was one when I watched it the other day. I was like, this is probably going to crack my top 10. And I was like,
yeah. Okay, fair enough. Which means, guys, we are on to our number 1 movies of the year.
Number one.
Matt, why don't you lead the conversation on this movie that I know that you have at number 1?
Damien Rugna's When Evil Lurks.
Yeah.
You couldn't have written me a better movie.
Yeah.
This
is the type of movie you'll never forget where you were when you saw it.
And that's why I like it. You know what? I'm like, every year you give me something like this, it's gonna pull at my heartstrings every single time.
Yeah.
So it's unbelievable story and mythos behind it, because you're clearly dumped into this time where being possessed, or they called it being rotten, is like
rotten.
Clearly some sort of plague that's already been kind of like situated and controlled. And so you start off with them kind of finding this guy in the woods who's just like blown to bits, almost is what it looks like. And you're like, what the fuck is going on with this like insane contraption? Then you see this dude in this bed who's just this like fucking whale of just a bloated, pus-filled mess. And
like
you're like, what the fuck is that thing?
It's like if the sloth victim from 7 had been alive and
covered in just gelatin.
Was also the whale from the movie. And so you're like, what the fuck? So you kind of immediately get dumped into the situation of being like, you can't move this guy. Like, they want to get rid of him because he's rotten, and that's apparently contagious, and it's in their village. And they're like, we got to get rid of them. There's all these rules you have to follow. You can't shoot them. You can't like execute them. You have to have this special like ritual and mechanism of like getting rid of them and killing them or something. It's out of control.
Huh.
And so they try to move him, and when they do, he falls out of the back of the truck.
Yeah.
And the dude weighs like, got to be 600
I don't even know how
pounds.
they got him into the truck,
Yeah.
to be honest.
And he's like, the whole time he's in the truck, dude, I'm like, he's going to fucking pop.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Just waiting for it.
yeah, I'm like, he's going to burst, and you're just going to see this flood of like liquid come out of the back of the truck. It was putrid. And so then he's just gone. So you're like, how do you fucking lose this guy?
Yeah, how does that guy get away?
But then that opens up the whole idea of like, all right, like, what is this thing capable of doing? So from there, it spreads and it gets everywhere. And it's like it can be on your clothes, and like someone can touch your clothing, and now you have it. Like, it's fucking brutal.
Yeah.
We got to see a lot of kids die in this movie.
Yeah.
We get to see
That's like Jesus
family
Christ.
attacking family, dog attacking people, dogs attacking
When
kids.
dogs attack.
Dharma.
The dog.
Doggy
There's a
Door.
scene in this movie that was hands down the most shocking scene probably
Yeah.
may have ever seen in a movie in my whole life.
You guys had seen this before I did, and I remember, I think, Kat, you went to go watch the Bachelorette or The Bachelor, and I put this movie on, and I think I texted you too, like, holy When Evil Lurks shit at that scene.
And
you
that's
were like,
even
oh,
after
you must have just got there.
That's even after a pregnant woman takes an axe to her own face.
Yeah.
So-
There's just some brutal scenes. That's one of the most unexpected scenes.
It's
You go. They're
it's
not
not
do
unexpected.
They're not going to
Yeah.
do it. But you keep going. They're not going to.
It keeps
They're not
going
gonna do
back
that.
and forth to
You
this
know they're building up
gigantic
to it,
dog
but you go. You can't. They're not going to do that.
just sitting next to
They
this
can't.
4-year-old girl, and it just keeps going back. And there's so much chaos outside of that,
Yeah.
and you're like this. And you saw the dog rooting around in the guy's
Yeah.
clothing.
Yeah.
So you know
He's
he's a
like,
little
this dog's
fucked
gonna fucking rip this girl's head off. And then when it does, it does. And it's like, dude, it's one thing that you see it like latch onto her, but then it pans under the table and it just ragdolling her around, and you're like, oh my god, dude.
This is the type of movie that when you see it, you think the filmmaker might be a little bit unhinged, like a psychotic person.
Well, this is the same guy that made the movie Terrified.
Yes.
And it's like where you watch a little boy get hit by a bus.
But then a little girl runs away and she's fine.
Right.
Yeah. And then the dad comes and smashes into her with a car. Yeah.
Well, and also, so Damien Rugna had a good year because he also, another movie that I didn't get, Satanic Hispanics. I didn't get a chance to watch it yet, but I love anthology stuff. That's on my list. I'll probably see it soon. Apparently, the segment he does in that movie is also fucking bananas.
Yeah, it's just this dude. He's cemented himself as someone that kind of a must see that name. You're like, all right, here we go.
It's like that's like I considered like same as like Brandon Cronenberg now. Like he comes out with something, you're probably gonna watch it. But
it's got a big theatrical release too,
right? Like it's awesome. I'm psyched. I'm psyched for it. And what was I gonna say? I feel like this is an ultimate example of like when you like with the whole like rotten thing, and like this is the ultimate example of like how you show, don't tell. Like there's no like title card that explains what's going on.
There's no exposition.
No. You basically just have to kind of infer what's going on based on the dialogue and like what they're saying to each other. And it's all subtitles, so you got to really fucking pay attention. But you are very easily able to like deduce, okay, this is clearly some sort of like possession virus, right? Type of thing. And it's like basically the fact that has happened has killed all religion in the world too. Yeah. So like nobody believes in religion anymore. So there's a lot going on.
There's a lot. Or at the school when they go to the school at night.
That's all the kids are covered with like lies so that they can't smell like they're dead. It's just like, oh my god.
It's just another
it's fucking heavy.
The demons are very smart.
Icky movie. Yeah, but it's a very good one. Very good one.
And then you play out to the last scene with one of the guys. So that whole scene with the dog, he's going to his ex-wife's house to take his children and be like, we got to get the fuck out of here. If you want to listen to do it or don't. And so that obviously goes to shit when everything happens. So he gets like one of his kids and then his other oldest son he's like nonverbal with autism. And so he takes him away. And then you have like the last scene is just fucking miserable. And like he has this whole like episode and it's like you think everything might be they kind of have figured it out and you're like fuck dude, like so it was just in terms of a horror movie, this was the most horrific movie to come out this year, bar none. Horrifying. Like it was that dog scene alone is the most brutal awful thing I've ever seen in a movie
like you life. Said it was like Speak No Evil last year, like that
the tongue snip it came close to that. It's just like, unless you're talking about like fucking Cannibal Holocaust or like something just like totally that was always over the top and meant to be, this movie like pushed its boundaries and just doesn't let up. And it like it reels you back in and then it doubles down and fucking pounds you back into the ground again. Yep. So it's just like, holy shit. So this dude doesn't give a fuck. If you watch Terrified, that movie's the same way. It's just like relentless violence. Yeah. So it's just like, holy shit. So
well, I had no doubt that When Evil Lurks would be your number one.
Yeah.
It would be your number one movie of the year. So deservedly so. Mm-hmm. I can totally understand why. All right, Kat, out with it. What's number one?
It's a little movie called Winnie the Pooh.
What? I thought it was gonna be like Megan.
Nope.
I've never seen Megan.
Okay.
Winnie the Pooh. It's the only movie I've seen in 2023 twice. Once in the theater and once on the couch.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I wouldn't be able to say this is my number one because I've seen it twice.
You clearly liked it.
Well, Mike didn't see it. I was like, I'll watch it again with you. It was like, it was really good in the movie theater.
So the qualification for you to take your top spot is just like the maximum. Whatever movie you've seen the most is going to take number one for you? Okay.
Well, because if I didn't like it, I wouldn't watch it again.
Okay.
But I'm sure there's other movies you'd watch again if you had the opportunity to watch
them. But I liked it enough that I wanted to watch it again.
All right, that's a reasonable. I mean, that's a good criteria. That gives it the 2 thumbs.
Yes, we've already talked a lot about it. I don't need to go into detail.
I mean, this is certainly an okay movie. I know Matt had it as his worst of the year.
One of the worst.
But least favorites of the year. Excuse me.
Cobweb. Like, what else did you say? Oh, Voyage of the Last 2. Oh,
all right, we're not getting into a ranking on people.
I'm just saying, no, but that's why we all have our own differences.
Different strokes for different folks.
Well, getting a sequel that's coming out next year. Yes, so Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey
Hopefully
2.
They have more of that, like the beginning scenes with the little sketch things. That was really
was the creepiest part of the whole movie. Was that. I don't know. I thought it was
I thought it
all
was
right.
silly and slashy.
It
and
yeah, well,
great.
you love.
It was. I found it
Like-
hilarious too, Kat. I'm not gonna this, but by the end of the year, I was like, yeah, this movie's not.
Well,
Yeah.
no.
It's not good, but it was. I enjoyed
again,
it. I enjoyed
yeah.
it. It's.
This is
I enjoyed it thoroughly.
everyone's favorite
Thoroughly enjoyed
10
it.
movies of the year.
Yeah.
So, to each their
Better
own.
than Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So, am I to understand that all 10 of your movies have now passed, and you did not mention the most recent Scream sequel? Did not make your top 10? Huh?
Well, I didn't see that either.
That really says something. Yeah,
No.
you didn't miss much. It wasn't very good.
It was
I,
not good.
yeah, I would assume that not great.
Yep.
No.
And
Not even
apparently,
Scream Queen
I don't even know if
like
the next one's going to get made. So we'll have to see if that actually
okay.
happens.
Yeah,
I'm cool with it.
it's okay.
Let it die. Let it die now.
Let
It
it
should have died.
Yeah.
He didn't need to come back.
All right, Andrew. What's number one for you, my friend?
Number one.
Is it also
for
Winnie
me.
the Pooh, Blood and Honey?
Unfortunately, no.
Yeah.
It is Godzilla -1.
Oh, I knew it. I
Wow.
still have not seen this yet, and I know this probably would make my top 10 based on everything that I'm hearing about it. So talk to us about
So,
Godzilla -1.
I'm not necessarily the biggest monster like movie type fan.
Yep.
But this movie did it so fucking good. It is such a phenomenal story, extremely well acted. It's funny, it's sad, it's depressing, it's bleak, it's uplifting, all in the same movie. And Godzilla, the monster, is done so well, even though it's CGI. I was like, wow, they did a really good job. I'm pretty sure it's all CGI. It might not be, but the opening scene, like the first 15 minutes, you basically have a kamikaze pilot landing on like an outpost island somewhere in the Pacific. This is like 2 days, I think, before the war is going to end, too. So he's pretending as if he's having like malfunctions on his plane, like he needs some repairs so that he doesn't have to go die for no reason. And the guy can't find anything wrong with his plane. He's sitting out on the beach, and then all of a sudden, these like fish just start coming up around the island. He's like, "What the fuck is this?" And they're like deep water fish that are getting, scared to the top by something. Mm-hmm. And then it's like turns to night. There's like 20 people on this outpost island. None of them are soldiers. He's the only like fighter pilot. Everyone else is basically just like they're like mechanics. So when they hear something, they put the alarm on and they just put the spotlight, and it's like baby Godzilla before he gets like big, and he is just terrifying, and he just starts ripping people to shreds. It is so good. Every scene with Godzilla in this movie absolutely rocks, but it's so much more than that.
Yeah.
And there's elements of like, there's so much like of it takes place on the ocean that there's like Jaws elements in it.
So that's what interests me.
Is
the most.
really good. It's a period piece because it takes place like right after the war. Like the reason it's called Godzilla -1 is because basically at this point in time, after they had dropped the A-bomb on them, Japan was basically at net zero, like they're net zero. So now they're getting attacked by Godzilla. So now they're -1. They're one below zero at this point. So
I was curious why it was called
Yeah,
that.
I was like, why is this called that?
Yeah, I had no idea.
Is it rated R?
I think so. Yeah, it's definitely rated R. No, it is. No, it's PG-13.
PG-13.
It's PG-13, but it should be rated R because, like, I went into the theaters and saw this, and I watched like this mom walk in with like her 7-year-old and like an 8-year-old, and like that's still like it's Godzilla movie, they'll be fine. But I'm like, I don't think this lady like did any googling of like what this movie's gonna be about because like 5 minutes in, there she was like,
leaving
left. They just left because I was like,
this
this isn't like
this
the material. It's just the material.
Wait, but it's rated R?
No, it's PG-13.
It's PG-13, but I could see like for content. Maybe rating it R.
Oh, yeah.
It's a little sus. It's right on the cusp. Like there's no like copious amounts of violence other than
Well, then they got around. That's how they got around the R rating.
Yep.
There's really not much. The
appeal to
blood's
a
not
wider
like
audience.
but
It's also it's a Japanese movie.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, this is so again all
It's not an
subtitles.
American
Yep.
movie.
Yep.
But they did still have American ratings.
Maybe it wasn't rated. I don't know.
No, it's rated.
No,
I
it was
Googled it.
rated
It's rated PG-13,
which I
It's
thought
rated
was
PG-13.
surprising.
Yep.
Definitely. I mean, this is my favorite movie of the year. Like this beat out Oppenheimer and all those other movies. My number one.
Wow.
Movie. I fucking love
No
this
shit.
movie. I saw it twice.
I know you texted me
I gotta
two
see it.
different times to go see it.
And
I was like, I'm at work.
I could have seen it with you both times too, but I had too much shit going on. And I
No,
couldn't
it's
see
fair.
it, so I got to see it. I have no doubt that when I see it, I'll probably really like it a lot.
I feel like it's one of those movies though that
drinks.
it's definitely one of those movies that benefits from being on.
It'd be a good double feature.
Yeah.
Oppenheimer and then watching Godzilla.
Oh, yeah.
-1.
Yeah,
Murphy,
right.
See what you did.
Okay.
Look what you did.
You son of a
Fair
bitch.
enough. So Gojira -1 at number 1 for Andrew, which means I'm last here. My number 1, Lee Cronin's Evil Dead Rise.
Yep.
This movie fucking rocks, and I think The thing that gave it a little bit of an edge over my other 2 movies in the top 3, so When Evil Lurks and Voyage of the Demeter, this has the Evil Dead feel. So it's this kind of combines the craziness and the zaniness of the original Evil Dead trilogy with like the insane off the wall gore of the Fede Alvarez remake. Kind of blends everything together, and it takes the Evil Dead formula and then brings it into a completely different, entirely new setting and makes it work perfectly.
I want to say something. I don't consider Evil Dead by Fede Alvarez a remake. I consider it a sequel.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, it definitely feels like it because I mean,
there's 3 books in the Army of Darkness.
Yep.
The original one that Bruce Campbell had. There's one that they have in the Evil Dead from 2013, and then there's the one that they have in this one.
Okay, I'll accept that explanation. Yeah, but I just think this is what most big horror franchises should be trying to do, is take the concept that works and apply it to a different formula. Now, I think this is a better movie than that, but I think this is very similar to what the Predator franchise did with Prey last year, right? Take the Predator story, set it in America with a bunch of Native Americans and fur trappers getting attacked by the Predator. Fucking awesome idea. Yep. Take Evil Dead, put it in a fucking high-rise condo building in LA. Awesome fucking idea. The cold open in this movie, phenomenal.
Sick.
Awesome. At first you're kind of like, how the fuck does this tie into the rest of the movie? And it ties everything neatly together with a bow at the very end.
Bow and a smooch.
A bow and a smooch. I just thought this was the most fun and scary horror movie of the year. I don't think it was like obviously not like scary, but it was like it was a good time. It had fucking crazy gore, some scary parts, awesome final boss, and final villain character.
Yeah, it's like a goop monster.
Yeah, crazy shit.
Goopy.
Yeah, the stuff down in the parking garage is so good.
Awesome stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just think that this is, you know, I am jealous that I did not get to go see it in theaters when you two went to go see it earlier this year.
Oh, that's right. You didn't come.
Yeah, I wasn't there for that. But I would have loved.
We had like did we have like a squad for that too?
I think there was like 2 other people there. 2 of your other buddies were there.
He came and
I would have loved to have seen this movie in a packed theater.
It was it was pretty packed too.
Yeah.
I think Mike Panetti and his now fiance came with us.
Maybe, yeah. There was definitely 2 other people. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, but loved Evil Dead Rise. My favorite horror movie of the year. I think. So
it was good.
What did you guys? What anything I missed? What did you guys think?
I know it was Evil Dead.
You had it a little bit lower, right? Did you have it in the top 10?
Yeah.
So okay, the 3 of us did. Have you seen this yet?
I had it at 3.
You should. Watch
I know.
Yeah,
I only have so much time.
I know you only have so
I
much
had it
time.
At 5.
Maybe spend less time watching Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, and watch Evil Dead Rise.
Or Jersey Shore, which I forgot. Jersey Shore Family Vacation, favorite 2023 non-horror whatever thing. Yeah.
Great, awesome.
The actress that plays the mom in this was like it was a very good casting option.
Yeah,
because she has very extreme. I think I heard that she's like a model.
Oh yeah, she's very sharp edges.
Yeah, she's got a big mouth, big eyes, very
Sharp
long legs and arms.
I don't want. She deserves to be in the conversation for performances this year. So I need to know what her actual name is because I forget. Alyssa Sutherland, I believe. That she plays the mom. Ellen.
Yeah.
And then the
Lily
Sullivan, who plays her sister,
was great too.
Very good. Yeah. So
she's in the movie that that's coming up this year. That's getting some good reviews from festivals. Called Monolith.
Oh, I heard about this one actually. Yeah. I'm into that one. Let me see. Was that the one about the podcaster?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
With like the conspiracy theory stuff that she stumbles upon. Yeah.
Yep. Let's see.
I can get down with that.
Monolith. Let's see.
This started hitting circuits in 2022.
Oh,
so it's been a little while.
Disgraced journalist turns to podcasting to salvage her career before uncovering a strange artifact that she believes is evidence of an alien conspiracy. Sign me the fuck up for that one. Absolutely.
Called Monolith.
Monolith. Beautiful.
I think they did say though, get ready for it to be like one of those movies that shot like it's pretty much just going to be her. I feel like.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's probably not going to be big budget alien invasion type shit. Probably like slow burn type shit, which I'm cool
with. Fine with
like that.
any way you can get that going.
All right, I know we're up against it here. Any quick honorable mentions that just missed the cut? I know we talked about a few of them. Anyone have anything they want to throw out? I can go first if we need some time.
I'll buzz in a few. Yeah.
All right. So
Mine.
go ahead, Kat.
Oh, Scream 6.
Okay.
Yep. Leave the World Behind.
Okay. Yep. New Netflix release. Yep.
Brooklyn 45, which we watched the other night.
Yeah, that also made my honorable mentions. That's a really good one on Shudder too. That I feel like really flew under the radar.
Nocebo that we watched the other night too.
Yep. Not bad.
And Thanksgiving finally because we had to watch Thanksgiving.
We'll have to go a little bit in depth on Thanksgiving the next time we record because I feel like we already covered a lot and we're out of time here.
Yeah.
But that deserves a discussion.
Yes.
Matt.
I'm gonna just go with the ones that we didn't already talk about tonight. The movie Good Boy, the one with the guy that acts like a dog. Spoonful.
Oh, right.
Spoonful of Sugar, which is a lot like Nocebo. It's another name exploitation.
Yeah.
I liked It's a Wonderful Knife. VHS 85.
Yep.
A movie I watched today called Tower, and then a movie I watched the other day called Attachment. Those were both.
I saw Attachment on Shudder. Yeah, that was when we almost watched.
Tower is on. I think it's called Blackout Tower.
Okay.
But it's French.
It's French.
It's French.
Oui. Andrew.
Let's see. So honorable mentions other than the ones we've already talked about. The Sacrifice Game, El Conde, Cocaine Bear.
Oh,
Cocaine Bear too. Yeah.
Let's see.
Gotta see El Conde. I heard that. Keep hearing that.
I keep hearing it's really funny.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. The rest of the trash they have on my
Yep.
list.
Trash.
So a few of the ones that I had on my list were already said. You guys got to see if you haven't yet. I talked about this a couple of months back. A movie called The Price We Pay.
I meant to try and watch that before tonight.
So you would love it.
Yeah.
It stars Emil Hirsch and Steven Dorff, and it's a fucking dude. Go in blind. It's a fucking brutal movie about it starts off as like a bank heist movie that goes wrong, and they have to hide out in this deserted farm, and shit just starts to go fucking sideways in a very supernatural, weird way. So definitely check that one out. And then also, in a movie that may only interest me because it is a DC animated feature called Batman: The Doom That Came to Gotham, which is essentially a reimagining of Batman fighting Lovecraftian supernatural versions of some of his famous villains. This is an R-rated DC animated movie that I really dug called Batman: The Doom That Came to Gotham. All right. Why don't we go around the horn real quick and just list off our top 10. I'll go first here to give everyone a chance to pull theirs up. My number 10 was The Outwaters. My number 9, Cobweb. Number 8, The Boogeyman. Number 7, Hell House LLC Origins, The Carmichael Manor. Number 6, Unwelcome. Number 5, Infinity Pool. Number 4, Renfield. Number 3, When Evil Lurks. Number 2, The Last Voyage of the Demeter. And number 1, Evil Dead Rise. Matthew.
Number 10, I had Huesera, the Bone Woman. Number 9, Beau is Afraid. Number 8, Birth, Rebirth. Number 7, Cobweb. Number 6, Malum. Number 5, Evil Dead Rise. Number 4, Talk to Me. Number 3, Infinity Pool. Number 2, Suitable Flesh. And number 1, When Evil Lurks.
Okay. Catherine.
I had number 10 was Saw 10X. Number 9, Five Nights at Freddy's. Number 8 is Insidious: The Red Door. 7 was Talk to Me. 6 was Dark Harvest. 5 was Beau was Afraid. 4 was Infinity Pool. 3, Redfield. 2, Knock at the Cabin. And 1, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Nice.
Oh, bother. All right.
That is a cat list right there.
It certainly is a cat list. I've ever heard one for sure. But hey, again, good for you, Kat. Andrew,
Thank you.
Your top 10.
It is good for me.
So I had number 10, The Pope's Exorcist. Number 9, Suitable Flesh. Number 8, Talk to Me. Number 7, Beau is Afraid. Number 6, Birth, Rebirth. Number 5, The Passenger. Number 4, Infinity Pool. Number 3, Evil Dead Rise. Number 2, When Evil Lurks. And number 1, Godzilla -1.
Anyway, all right. So good work by all. What an awesome time ripping off our top 10 horror movies of the year. Again, I love this little new tradition that we do. I can't wait to do this again next year.
Best.
A lot of fun.
It's great because it really makes you crush through movies and
Yeah.
put it in there, and it's
And it makes you think because you're like, okay, I liked this about this movie a little bit more, but I didn't like this. So it's it's definitely it's a good little exercise to try and figure out where.
It makes you good at watching movies.
Yeah,
there's you know what I mean. You learn how to actually
figure
watch,
out
understand, and get grasp the whole movie. So
I have a hard time with that.
You got a lot going on. Like it can be difficult, especially if there's movies that have like subtitles. It's like you got
If you miss any part, it can just
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, it was another year in horror, guys, and we're still here looking forward to 2024. But that's what we thought of 2023. So hopefully you guys saw a lot of these movies, liked them. If not, hopefully we didn't spoil too much for you. Go out and check some of these out. We will post our lists online whenever this episode is released. And Happy New Year to each of you. That's all I have to say for now. Looking forward to more podcasts in 2024. We'll be back next week after a couple weeks off prior to this for some more horror stuff. Not sure what yet. We'll figure it out. But that's what I got. Just a reminder to like, subscribe, and review to our show. It is the most helpful thing that you can do for us. We're on Apple, Google, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, and wherever else you may get your podcasts. And I've been joined by my fellow esteemed co-hosts all throughout 2023, Matt, Andrew, Kat. Thank you guys very much, and I'll talk to you all soon. Say bye to your audience.
Bye-bye. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year, and
Happy New Year.
goodie.
Bye.
Hey everyone, it's Mike from America's Hometown Horror, and I want to say thanks again for listening to another episode of our show. If you're interested in more local Plymouth podcasts, I'd highly recommend you check out the shows from our friends over on the Inebriart Podcast Network. In addition to America's Hometown Horror, you can find shows from Inebriart, the Old Colony Cast, Bar Talk, Theme Park Legends, and Retro Redoctopus, so head on over and give them a listen.